Hello and welcome to the final ever WinchesterFest show. And this is the most excited I have ever been at 9 o'clock in the morning, ever in the history of being alive. 9 o'clock in the morning, smoking a cigarette, drinking tea, getting ready to do some poetry. Well, this has been a fantastic time, hasn't it? 102 days, 102 days of poetry and music and weird interviews and normal interviews and like all sorts of stuff. All sorts of things have happened. This is it. This is the last show. And we got to go out with a bang, haven't we? Ain't we? Nice. We got to go out with a bang, haven't we? So we are doing a massive 13-hour stream. We have 78 poets, I think. I'm not very good at maths, so I don't know. But we have 78 poets or so. We've got 13 hours. We've done 102 days. We've set a new world record, or set a world record, rather, for the longest consecutive poetry show days. Time has no meaning. I'm going to kick us off. My name's Alex Vellis, and I'm so pleased to have been a producer for WinchesterFest. I've got a couple of poems for you, and then we've got a whole section of, well, we have a whole... Talking is really difficult now at this time in the morning. Yeah, so I've got some poems for you. We're going to be really excited. I just want to give a massive shout out quickly, actually, to everybody that has performed in WinchesterFest, to all of the producers, past and present, and to everyone that has supported us in any possible way. It has been an absolutely amazing time. And I personally have learned a lot and grown as a person. I think I've probably also died a lot inside. Like, this is 15-hour days. But yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic. And I just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone. I'm really proud of all of you, and I'm really proud to have had you perform alongside me, and for me to be able to work with so many fantastic people. It's been absolutely magical. It's been really special. I'm just going to chug this cup of tea for a minute. I actually only have gross. I actually don't have as long to perform because I've been chatting so much. So I'm going to read you some poems that I've never performed on WinchesterFest because I thought that would be a great idea. This poem's called "After the Party." After the party, it's me and you. 2 1s as 1 2, and 1 does as we do. You tug the bedsheet 3 times, and I move. For you. For 5 hours, we lay there hungover and magnificent. Our bodies speak in magniloquence, our sweat choking and corroding and recoding this futility, this symphony as you pull yourself into me. We have 6. Some time passes, and you tell me these 2 1s as 1 2 are 1 too few, and we should try and be 1 3. I say I'm not that good at maths, but this household's too little space for a bigger household, no matter how small the addition is. Through action or inaction, she subtracts herself from the bedroom to the bathroom, and these 2 1s as 1 2 become 2 1s in separate rooms. We do not have 6 again that night. I wake up and it's 4:45. My alarm is set for 7. I feel like I am running out of time, like we have missed a beat. Usually I would count sheep to help me sleep, but all this bleating's got me feeling time is fleeting, and retreating to the mattress ass backwards is a back step towards bad action. I wish this could all just be me and you. 2 1s as 1 2, and 1 does as we do. I want to call you 3. I know you will agree, but only as 1 3. I should say something funny like 13 is an unlucky number. You will not laugh. Instead, we will talk until the clock on the wall reads 9.5. And we keep doing this damn dance, but lately these dances feel like we are marching in marshes, partaking in parties, no concern for the afters. But I still love your laughter, the way our bodies create art in the darkness. But I think we want different things, and we are both just human beings that deserve to be happy. I will miss you, but it looks like these 2 1s, 1 2 will forever be 2 1s in separate rooms. Thank you. Timing, right, I got a few minutes. This next poem is one that I've never read at any point ever, I don't think. So, wicked, gonna crack on with it. It's called At the Heart of an Animal That Used to Look Like You. And I have spent all morning killing myself to the sound of your voice. Perhaps it is the lack thereof, or the singular pair of shoes by the front door. Perhaps it is the one toothbrush or one coffee mug. Perhaps it is a cold side of the bed, or an alarm clock set. Perhaps it is an inability to get up in the morning. Perhaps it is a favourite song that sounds off-key, or perhaps it is a bird's nest calling for droves of flightless creatures, of men with broken wings and backfiring engines that say, "The morning is here, time to break your back with a day's labour." Perhaps it is television playing adverts at 2 a.m, or it is the TV dinner for one, or it is a dog who does not listen to me or to the sound of lights that hang darker each day. Perhaps it is the kitchen, the dripping, a constant reminder that you are not here and I have not fixed this. Perhaps it is a cyclical vision, a sugar plum fairy that has died in the doorway to our home, in the doorway to my home, in the doorway to this house. And this is just a building that I live in, a building that does not know you, that will not remember and could not save you. Perhaps it is a hanging, a taut rope that falls loosely on the ground, or it is the heart of an animal that once used to look like you, one that would follow you home, a homing pigeon, a broken neck. I still listen to our answering machine message. It does not make me feel better. It does not make me feel worse. It cannot make me feel. And I think that maybe the worst thing about it. You are not here. You are gone. And though I miss you, there are not enough I love yous left in the world to bring you back. Thanks. Probably should have left a content warning on that one. Didn't know it was that dark. So, yeah, I probably should have put a content warning on the whole thing. That would have been the much smarter option. In a few minutes, we're going to be moving on to our next performer, who's actually a very old friend of mine. Hello, Lucas. It's also Lucas Howe, by the way. But so yeah, we're going to move on to Lucas in just a few minutes. He's a very old friend of mine. We have been. When I was younger, when I was about 18, I think I saw Lucas perform once in Canterbury. He was brought down by a mutual friend of ours, Lorraine, and I was just like, wow, one day I want to be that good. Do you know what I mean? And it's just an absolute blessing for me and a total honor that Lucas and I now get to like work together, you know, a fairly regular amount considering we're in lockdown. And I've performed at his shows and he's performed at mine, and I feel honestly lucky that our friendship and our professional relationship have developed so much over time. And we're now at this point in which we can do each other's shit, do each other's stuff. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. Probably shouldn't swear, but if anyone else wants to, that's fine. Yeah, sweet.
You're my boy.
That's so kind, bro. Like, I love you to bits. I'm so happy that you're here with me on this journey. Anyway, we are going to switch over to Lucas. We're going to start about a minute early so that he gets a little bit more time, I guess, because I've run out of things to say. But yeah, so can we please welcome to the stage, the virtual stage for the last time for WinchesterFest, Lucas Howard, everybody. Make some fucking noise, swore.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Go me. Awesome. It's really good to be on this, man. And everything you said about me, I feel about you. First time I saw you, I thought you were amazing. So mutual love there. I'm Lucas, the Peaceful Poet on Instagram. I'm organizer and host of Slam Dunk in Hastings. I have been for 6 years. I'm also not used to being up this early recently because of COVID, so please bear with me. The first one is called Haytown, and it's about Hastings, which I absolutely love. There'll be some references you get if you know Hastings, but if you don't, you can use your imagination. This is called Haytown. I'm a wasteling from Hastings, knees up, I'm so sober. G's front on the seafront as I sleep on my sofa. Bohemia Road, man, there's no hope without desire. There's no crow without smoke then, so come stoke with a slow poke. Oh no, so told, top of this dead island shit list. Hardest place in the southeast to ever find a witness. Eyes turn to sea walls, they see all and say nothing. A town full of mimes and blind man's bluffing.
Coked up little coastal town where seagulls rule the streets. Trying to eat something, but there's fuck all here to eat. There's fuck all here to eat. Gentry will survive, half man, half burger as they eat themselves alive. Chip shops, bus stops, mug shops. Hordes of Hoxton hipsters hopping the train down for the day. They found a playground of 1,000 lost wallets as pickpockets and change hounds all profit down in Haytown. Way down by life, make your way down to Haytown. Prices are nice and stay way down in Haytown. You followed the lure like you're like a greyhound. Now your types live your lives caught way down in Haytown. Caught way down in Haytown. Caught way down in Haytown. We got fake shakes and fist bumps. We got May days and lit blunts. We got yoga-based day raves with middle-aged rich mums, no pills in their systems, bliss through persistence, while dissident miscreants get pissed in the distance. Listen, I'm shunned by high society. All said and done, pissheads are polite to me. So much liquor left on their breath, yes, I believe bonfire societies hire them to fire breathe. Lighter fuel and meth, send my kind of insobriety. Blessed with the best cess, I find higher breeds. Cali bag, scallywag black, the swaggest types of weed. Stops me getting aggy and relaxed to be a nicer me. I'm climbing shiny hills on psilocybin pills. My mind is free to slide inside itself and then unwind itself entirely. Nice bit of buff bud to puff on the way down. That's 2 hits, I'm double Dutch, so much love for Haytown. Way down by life, make your way down to Haytown. Dress how you like, mate's okay down in Haytown. It's getting quite late, son, you ain't making the train now. You may have to stay one more day down in Haytown. Thank you, that's my first one. I really enjoyed performing that. Sorry for the little slip up, but these things happen, especially this time in the morning. This next one, moving swiftly on because I know I've got limited time, was written for my best mate, Chris. So Chris, this is for you. And so much love for this guy. He's a beatboxer, really, he's a producer, really talented guy, really humble, really, really just lovely. This is for Chris. Chris. It isn't a criticism when I say you have the biggest visions and introspective tendencies. Me too. See, I laugh when I think of the paths that we choose, and we do choose, don't we? At least that's what we're told, but mostly I just want to be left afloat. See, I'm sick of trying to cope. I don't want to be an adult. I just want a soul to hold me. Great oaks grow from acorns, but acorns alone won't grow trees. The environment must be right. You need just enough light, enough food, enough heat to dance towards the sky. But I've been branching out my whole life and haven't reached the sky yet, so fuck knows if I'm right, but I'm here. If we can accept the sky is in us and fight fear, life becomes bright, sunlight is quite clear. You'll know exactly where you are. You are right here, right now. Remember to let that light in and shine that light out. I can see it when you light up. Talking about transport networks, words slightly rushed. See, that kind of love reminds me of my love, of my truth, and I too light up. So let's be light tonight and light up. The night is right here, rife with ideas. Let's light up. There are fast lanes with vast possibilities. Pick a city, any city, please, with many interconnections and integrated intersections. The city breathe. Chris, you're a citizen with the vision every city needs. Fuck procrastination, ideas should flow free. I'm all about that get up and go. You know me, when you say life is so, I say so, go sow seeds. And each time one grows, come show me. Thank you. That's for Chris, my best mate. I'm going to finish on this. I think I'm not sure how I'm doing for time because I literally no clock on my phone or anywhere around, but I hope this will be okay. Right, this is some bars I wrote recently for a friend who's a producer, and he said, can I have 8 bars? So I wrote this. It's written down, so I'll try my best. Been writing rhymes and catching rays while every twat is agitated. In an outer candle, make back apple cakes or handle weights. Plans I make evaporate, been isolated, hibernating, haze inside her combinations make me spaced and kind of vacant. Strangely, I am wide awake. Find my mind is quite sedated. Nameless days of takeaways, navigating hyperspace. Great debates in in great debates with every damn Facebook acquaintance. Wanna be in public places, getting off my fucking face with you. And that's how I feel right now. I want to get off my face with all of you, and I will do very soon. Thank you for having me, guys. I'm Lucas, the Peaceful Poet on Instagram, and you can find me on there, and Lucas Howard on Facebook. Please hit me up, guys. Awesome. Thank you.
Lucas, that was amazing, and I'm so glad that I tried not to swear. I mean, what was I thinking? But honestly, man, that was like absolute fire. That was actually so good. Like, I love the fact that like you're such a passionate performer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, thanks, man. Thank you.
And I've seen your style develop so much. I've seen like how you've like changed through different forms of like poetry and like hip hop, and like settled on like also like this weird mixture of grime and things as well. And it's just really, really special. Like, bro, that was sick. Thank you so much for
thank you. Yeah, nice.
You're welcome.
Cheers, Alex.
So our next performer. So I don't think I've actually seen our next performer perform, but they're so like passionate about stuff that I post online or on my artist page, and I was just like, look, I know that you're interested. I know that you want to do a gig, and I know that this is our last day, so I've got to book you. You're so genuinely like enthusiastic about stuff that we do collectively as poets, and I just want to have you on the team. I want to see you perform so much. Like we still got 3 minutes ish, which is cool because like so we put these 3-minute breaks in so that we have enough time to change over. But so far everyone, like, granted it's only been 2 of us, but we're so on time that I'm just not used to this as a poet. But yeah, our next performer is, I really hope that I don't balls up your last name or your middle to last name, your hyphenated last name, but it's Tim Callahan Martin, right? And yeah, I posted something about oh yeah, I finally managed to write a poem this lockdown, and he went sick. He was just like, yes, Alex, this is exactly what we need. And I was like, this is the sort of enthusiasm that I need in my everyday life. I'm so excited. So can we please welcome to the virtual stage for the first time, for the last time, however many times he's been here before, Tim Callahan Martin, everybody. Let's fucking go. Let's do it.
Hello, everyone. How we doing? Oh my God, Alex, thank you so much for that amazing introduction. I can't possibly live up to that kind of hype now. How are you doing? You all good?
Yeah, man, sick. I'm so happy.
Amazing. Right, I'm gonna keep this really, really quick. Normally, like, I ramble and shit, but yeah, I'm gonna keep it going. This one, first of all, thank you so much to Whisky Beards for having me, and Alex, thank you for booking me, man. This means the world. Yeah, so my name is King Stammers. I'm based on the Isle of Wight, and I do poems like this. This one's called Noble Amateurs. It was a rainy Thursday in any ordinary town. And in a place quite nondescript, the poets came to get down and offer forth their freshest flows of flawless pentameter. The drinks for flowing spirits were high, that's all that really mattered, save for one man, sat at the bar, who found his nerves aflame. He scowled, he frowned, he pondered to himself, do these poets feel no shame? This poetry isn't proper, this poetry isn't real, there's no command of subtlety here, it just plain lacks appeal. He thought their prose was uninspired, long in the tooth dog-eared and tired, in the singular word he thought it was shit, and he couldn't stand it any longer, not one little bit. And so he decided, as with all his other scars, that he'd throw his anger into bars of cutting verse to separate wheat from chaff, going in for the jugular to make himself laugh. It took 4 drafts till he was content, until he felt that his work had fulfilled its intent. And he looked down proudly on his work with a grin, smugly elated at the wit within. Thursday came, and he grabbed his books, and he perched at the bar, giving furtive little looks, and as the host called up his name, or angry on case study abandoned or shame, fancying himself iconoclastic, he spewed forth verbal pyroclastic flows of savage, unhinged rhyming, long on insults, haphazard on timing. He systematically tore apart what he thought were lesser forms of the art, gorging deep on his opinions, he revelled as he held dominion. Clumsily he ambled through his verbs, intent to provoke, prod and perturb, line upon line of utter derision, hoping the neophytes would put their pints down and listen. And lo and behold, the venue fell silent. And he felt like a defender of poetry so defiant, but Had he have stopped to read the room, our angry young case study may well have changed his tune. See, fledgling writers who grip pens in catharsis abandoned embryonic prose in aghast of this, fearing that they'd never ever make the grade, all because of one man's inane, indignant shade. And just like that, first drafts were left to gather dust, and the nibs on fountain pens began to rust, as they dropped their pens and thought, I'm not cut out for this. The standard's too high. Maybe I'll give it a miss. See, self-confidence is a garden, and your words are the seeds. And you can propagate oak trees or you can cultivate weeds. Even Kate Tempest, before 5-star reviews cut her teeth, just spitballing her views. And as for this dude's views about poetry needing to be real, fuck it, man. Art doesn't need a royal seal. Because how can anything that brought us all here be considered anything less than fucking sincere? Thank you. Oh, thank you so much for having me, guys. That was amazing. Oh my God, I'm running well short. I thought that one was gonna take like 5 minutes. Alex, do I have time for another one? I think that's a yes. I think that's a yes.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Thank you so much. Okay, this is one that I normally close gigs on. This one is called Message to Love. You could kill 2 birds with 1 stone, but I don't know. Wouldn't it be better to spare them instead? To learn, to love, to live, to grow in small acts of compassion, take time to show that this world isn't as heartless and barren as some would have you believe. It's amazing what us tiny humans can achieve when we work together in the name of progression instead of caving into engineered aggression. Society is more than just a parade of flags. Of values are not personified by brightly coloured rags. I believe that which unites, excites and binds us is greater than the sum of the parts that divide us. So you can take your fear and hatred and you can dress it as opinion. You can call it editorials, inspired buys or any other synonym, and naive as fuck I might be, but I'm siding with love because I think when push comes to shove, we should be building bridges, not walls. We should stop to help a lending hand to our friends who fall. So from this day forth, feel free to hold me to my proclamation, whilst I have a platform to address representatives in each and every nation, as long as there are stars in the sky above, you can keep your fear and hatred. This chunky poet chooses love. Thank you.
Right, that was lovely. You actually have 4 minutes, by the way, if you want to do another one.
Sweet. Yeah, I would absolutely love to. I'm going to throw it open to you, man. I've got one about a woman who gets drunk in an airport or one about waiting for a bus in the rain. What would you prefer?
Bus in the rain. I'm a depressing man.
Oh, bus in the rain it is. This one's called April Showers. This is probably going to take me up to time. Thank you so much for having me, man. This has been amazing. I'm very used to like playing raucous pub gigs where people just heckle me with shit like, oh, Harry Potter's let himself go. This has been really nice. Thank you for having me. The pensioner Gladys says she finds it frightening how school kids can pack away so much white lightning. See, this bus stops and pop-up speakeasy for teens competitively drinking beyond their means. The remnants of last night's youthful drinking increasingly finds itself floating downstream and sinking as we wait for the bus in the rain. The prognosis is bleak, the sky's looking dark, some matey called Noah is readying an ark, the contents of cumulus and nimbus descending in torrential buckets of downpours unending, against restback constructed of plexiglass and steel as we wait for our textbook postponement on wheels, as we wait for the bus in the rain. Undoubtedly, the single worst part of the commute, a fact that no one here will refute, lack teapots of chocolate or tonic that's ginless. This bus stop is generously praised as useless. Resplendent in leaks for purpose not fit. This rain's not from Africa, so Toto won't bless it as we wait for the bus in the rain. The deluge continues, unending and steady. Oh, hang on, all lads, get that bus passer ready, because here comes the bus! Oh shit, it's the wrong bus. Vehicular deception because in a fuss. The water is rising, cars are floating away. There's no inbound Kevin Costner to save the day as we wait for the bus in the rain. I wonder if this bus stop will still be here when the sea levels rise. I wonder if the climate change deniers could see it through our eyes. No wonder the school kids drink, the situation's bleak. Industry doesn't give a toss. Politicians don't listen when they speak. So when old Gladys asks me what's on my mind, I say, I wonder how some people can be so blind as we wait for the bus in the rain. Thank you.
No, man, that was you took us on a journey. You took us on a journey. Like that whole set was a fucking journey, man. Like,
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm so like genuinely blessed to have you perform with us. And I don't know what I was expecting. Like that was amazing.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much. That means the world. Thank you.
Where do you have a Facebook? Can I follow you?
I do, yeah. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, all as @King Stammers. Yeah, the King Stammers name. Initially, like when I started spoken word, I was working in a high school, so I needed a pseudonym so the kids didn't start turning up at my gigs and be like, "Oh, Mr. Martin did a poem about a drunk woman in an airport." And yeah, like I used to suffer from a nervous stammer, and I used spoken word to kind of work through that, and that's where the name came from. And yeah, I'm based on the Isle of Wight, and I'm available for bookings and commissions. I'm absolutely shameless. You want me to write a poem for your product? Yeah, I'll do it. I got it. Yeah, yeah. I'm rambling. I'm doing that thing where it's early morning. I've not had enough caffeine, so I ramble. Yeah. Whisky and Beards, Alex, thank you so much for having me. This has been fucking amazing.
Dude, you're more than welcome. Like this has been great. And if I wasn't a poet myself, I would book you to write poems for me. I might do that anyway, just not tell anyone. Just be my ghostwriter.
I'll yeah. Let's make that spoken word money, Ray. Like let the
yeah, nice. We'll do that then. Anyway, so so that was absolutely fantastic. We're going to be moving on to our next poet, and it's difficult for me to introduce because I don't actually know them. One of the producers for WinchesterFest, Laura Kestrel, she booked this poet, and from what I am told, Georgia Stride is an absolute powerhouse, a powerhouse of poetry. I wonder if I can get any more plosives in this. A powerhouse of poetry. No, I can't. It's too early in the morning. I don't know any more words to begin with P. Partakes. You can now partake in the powerhouse of poetry. That will do. That's the nearest. I'm sorry, that's the nearest you're gonna get. It's like 9:30 in the morning. I've been awake for like, I don't know, 6 minutes or so. This is the best you're gonna get from me. But can we please welcome to the virtual stage, Georgia Stride, everybody. Let's go fucking nuts, please. Let's go.
Thank you. That was an awesome introduction, and I've missed being introduced with with loads of plosives as well. I mean, what more could I want? It's been like since March since I've performed, and I've really missed it. So thank you so much to you guys for having me this morning. I've got my timer ready so I don't go over. That's easier to manage when you're not on stage. I literally always forget. But basically, I'm a Southwest poet. I've been performing for about 5 years now. And my last gig, oh my gosh, it's bad when you can't remember. I think it was, let's go with my last big one, was Cheltenham Literature Festival. So today I've got a pamphlet that I've been working on. I wish I could take credit for this wonderful artwork, but I can't. It was from my friend. But it was supposed to go to a printer's, but because of lockdown, I've hand stitched it instead, which is really hard if anyone's wondering, but worth it. So I'm going to be reading a few poems from here today. And it's a bit about lockdown, a bit about relationship, got some natural imagery in there. And it was my final year university project. So it's very fresh. I've never read these poems before at any gig. So it's lovely that they're being performed in the finale of WinchesterFest. I will start with the first poem, which is called Self-Portrait as Daisy. The flower was once a contender for my name, standing in clusters in every field and untamed garden, waiting for admiration. Our subtle beauty goes unnoticed, lost among the striking striped pansies. Spreading my silken white petals, I brighten the day, make it yellow with a smile of cadmium, radiating from rounded features before night shadows hide my grace. That's the opening one. And this next one is called Wake Up Call. It's about the very new beginnings of a relationship before lockdown. Wake up call. Morning light shatters darkness. Sanguine shot eyes search for blackness. Your breath whispers into winter rays, filtered through the window. I don't know if I've ever been so content, led next to the man I thought could only exist in my imagination. You stir, turn over, study my face like it's the first time. Smiles lazily graze our faces, knuckles skimming your collarbone. Count the laughter lines around your eyes, count the days you've been mine. Clock ticks and warns us of morning, we ignore it. Crawl down into sheets and shelter from the wake-up call. It's probably one of my favourites from the collection, and from family that have read it so far, that's theirs as well. This next one, let's go for a very topical one. Maybe it's a good time to read about the end of the world. It's a prose poem. Everything is unprecedented in such a way that the nation feels complacent by the overwhelming notion that our species is transient, and I have never felt more mortal. In my absence from your company, 7 weeks and I ache for more than a phone screen, chats where it's harder to have nothing to say, because you'll be gone in an hour and there will be no one to go to bed with. So it feels like a good time to read about the end of the world. To distract me from my woodland brain, every tree looks the same without you there to scatter the breadcrumbs that lead me home. So I'll read about a fake pandemic in favour of the real one. The route that trips our feet, pretend you're next to me whilst I read about tsunamis, world wars and plagues. Until this situation feels manageable, and I'll go to bed with an apocalypse instead. And tell myself that there is no better time to read about the end of the world. Nice cheery one there. So this next one is called 3 Miles, and this is where the relationship's progressed and it's now in lockdown. I walked 3 miles without you today. Our usual distance, surrounded by blue skies, but it wasn't the same. I had no one there to laugh when my boot got stuck in the mud, or look disinterested when I pointed out the budding daisies, or for me to tut at how you say my favourite flower is a cheap bunch to pick, or for me to slip my hand into your coat pocket. A walk without you is a daisy on the brink of bud, and this uncertain shadow hides the sun. How am I doing? Okay. Let's go for a couple more. I think I'll do. These are the last 2 poems in the pamphlet. It's called Lunch in Lockdown. In the warmth of a spring afternoon, I see your face as if it were the first time. 7 weeks of pixelated phone screens make seeing you in real life a luxury. Cerulean blue eyes taking me in, sweaty, no makeup, curled up on the garden bench, and you ask me what I want for lunch. It is in this gesture that I see you, love expressed in the simplest of ways. I smile long after you've left for the kitchen, let my skin crisp in the midday sun, transported back to our second date, clouded rain, rejuvenating sodden grass, encouraging new life, new beginnings. You wore inappropriate shoes, Chelsea boots sliding in October mud, wearing a tense smile of "do not fall over" that made me fall for you. The creak of expanding wood in heat breaks my daydream as you appear in the doorway, plate in hand, and a smile on your face, familiar to me now as breathing, as familiar as these endless spring afternoons. And this one is the final poem. It's called Full Bloom. It kind of brings us up to where we are now in the present day. And it's about another walk. Wild garlic blinds our senses, humidity heightening its potency as dappled sunlight trickles through the canopy of the bridle way. I sneeze, and you laugh at my ability to be so allergic to such beauty. You laugh, and in that I have found what everybody searches for. Lapsing into companionable silence, you take my hand, palms alight, with recognition. Okay, and that's what I've got for you all today. That was so much fun. I've really missed performing, and it's such an honour to be a part of the finale of WinchesterFest. So thank you to Whisky Beards, Laura, Alex. Thank you so much for having me this morning. It's been great fun.
Oh my god, that whole set was really touching. Like you fully deliver. Like, oh my god. Like also I haven't heard like God, I hope I don't get this word wrong, like flaneur poetry in quite some time. So like to hear these journeys that you've been on, like I was so excited to be like, yeah, this was fucking amazing and stuff, but like feel like this is more of a reserved sort of that was really intimate. That was a really intimate. This is exactly what I needed for like 9:30 in the morning. Thank you so much. That was genuinely really touching.
Oh.
Yeah, that was. I thought you were going to say something. Sorry, I just cut off.
No.
Yeah, like, I had a joke prepared. Like, do you work in a kebab house because you deliver? But like that was my.
Brilliant.
Yeah, but yeah, that was genuinely. That was real special.
Thank you so much.
Right, yeah. So we're gonna move on to our next poet. Our next poet is actually, you know, all right. So our next poet is Jack Mythos, and Jack Mythos has. I've been doing gigs in Canterbury for I don't know what feels like eternity because time has no relevance anymore. I don't understand it. Does it ever exist? Birds aren't real. But Jack comes to almost every single one of my shows. He goes to almost every single one of the shows in Kent. He is a fantastic performer. He is like knows more words than I think I have. I think Jack has said more words in his poetry than I know. And I know that sounds like a bizarre thing to say, but like Jack knows words. Jack is a powerful, powerful performer, a hip hop artist, and has an album out, has a bunch of songs. Like he is absolute fire. So can we please welcome to the stage, the WinchesterFest stage, the 102 Days of Sodom, which is like the best title for a show ever. So well done for everyone being in on that. But yeah, can we please welcome to the virtual stage, Jack Mythos, everybody. Let's fucking go.
Hey. Wait, I have 3 albums actually.
My bad.
How long do I have to perform?
You have until 9:47.
So like 3-4 poems?
Yeah, about that, yeah.
Well, I'm going to open with this one. This is the first of 3 poems I put up over the same week a couple of weeks ago. This is called Replicate Connection. It's about missing a girl I kind of made an awkward situation with. Genetic letters caligraphically stenciled, recommissioning augmented my wildest fantasies vessel in a long symptom pageing majesty revel. Despite artificial origin, DNA structure organically settles. Lesson learned from failure, we take assessment, reconstructing rendezvous to dissipate ejection, studying hindsight that invades attention. Saturatic revival to instigate redemption, continuity of boot, most fondly remembered dalliance, ephemeral unions virtues, forever champion, swift existing together, 7 axioms, we spark in form of flame, a temperature maximum, override rejection trigger, reimposing savior. Psychological precarity commence activating cloning chamber, scientific pioneering secondary to a woven favor, installing imitation of lost loves and broken nature. Even decline discarding, potentially Trojan data, solar's incubator, feeling brings emotions greater, psychological climate matters approaching equator, personified utopias, breathtaking component saviored, countering cracks formation, introspection finished, cellular mitosis composes perfection's image, lifespan sagas, normally implausible and projection vivid, all aspects of fluorescent, essence mimics, distresses dispersing, observing quintessent visage, dearest desires, and parallel presence privileged, flawless figure forms from elementary particles, nullified withdrawal from most heavenly barbital, Holding the plea desires, faithfully rechargeable, resuming intertwined voyage, immeasurably remarkable, preparing routines, merely laughterful, equally awaiting days, deathly serious, and incredibly farcical. Time of tribe, signaling epilogues of vision canonized, using scoundrel interpretation, resumes handsome guys, like comparable passion, but still left phantoms rise, when subsided infatuation, branding eyes. From circumstances, transmutation, regenerate affection, answer and painting as duplicate begins to grace perception, results either entirely alleviate or extremely elevate depression, helping subatomic symmetry, remotely replicates connection. Thank you. This next one is a superhero poem. It's called The World That Hates and Fears Them. It's about how heroes will be persecuted. And wait, Alex, if you can still respond, what is World That Hates and Fears Them a reference to?
I don't know.
X-Men. I thought you were into X-Men. You've never heard that quote about X-Men.
It's like 9:30 in the morning, dude. I don't know anything right now.
Does law represent letters or spirits, question posed by pretense of gimmicks, availing antagonists and gender against misfits, the these bankrupt crusades should never finish, a warfare urban consumes present tense, house kitchen calls its devil heaven sent, keep its crippling, eschews benevolent tense, discretion, immense spoiling freedom's plot, also psychosomatic weakness lost, some things mistake freedom to dilute gloom, clansmen haunted by African voodoo, who cops land and Hulkbuster armor, Futurama inspires for a tear spine, despite those agent of severe flight, public favour, fully when fear strikes, only Olympia falls swords can pierce hide, of oblivion invaders personified fist light, daddy's face applying citizenship for weird side, regardless of resolving mutation, monsters are heavily and phase winning daily planets of bucous pleasantries. The blood that crippled and mentally imbalanced still scales seemingly insurmountable challenge, and ceremonies to keep a cosmic balance, simultaneously fighting financial funds rampant, reducing inhabitants to phantoms, omnipotent toddlers tantrums, so swap random pedestrians into dimensions, abilities abandoned. Blue lanterns like path to fraudulent growth, empowering illuminations discordant drove. Arkham Knight shatters sanctuaries, ghosts, Kisco crypts over orphans rose. Doomsday clock component of saintly sears head into tyrannical dictation disappears friends. Despite this rally super beings with clear tense. Sole purpose protecting this world, which hates and fears them. Thank you. Right. Okay, so I'm going to do kind of an older one now. This is an older one, but this is the one when I perform it, everyone loves it. This is called Safe Passage. It's about my friend I used to rap with who disappeared. Like literally, he just stopped talking to me one day and I've never heard from him since. And he doesn't live near me, so I have no idea what happened to him. Existence extrapolates absence. Solar-powered panels, antiquated lanterns, lit during daring deeds of teen titans, saving solitary seconds of serene silence, narrowly evading ferocious fiends' violence. Hippocampus, composing graveyard of summer days, Bristol being foundation for others' sake. We live lust of ratio in slumbered state, helmed up in a beamer of Hyperborean capital, sub-vegetable jam in DeLorean magical, infiltrated every exotic territorium fathomable, even found fiercest, Mandalorian tangible. Discovering destiny, remarks purpose, abolished allegories, yet concoct worship, masquerading amongst Mr. Dark's circus, freeing free show from Count Olaf's service, cutting collars, yet conducting knowledge, killing plutonian or combusting solids, pleasure and pain, solitary attributes, grafting themselves to the tad boots, Warner cemetery shattered through, Barsom, Narnia, and Middle Earth's heights, for base pedestrians to verse light, hoping to sight with blue blurs, first flight, succulent stargates, we approach rear, amongst egocentric snobs, disposed sneers, into perpetual power armor, we wove fear, great on wasp with unopposed jeers, silently diamonds die, desires for rose reared, obsidian beast bark, erodes cheer, once enigmatic ergon, exposed, clear, disappearance abrupt, as Ambrose fierce, disregarding reality, the captured dreams, traces taste, casting through Kafka scenes, facts me from content, griffins, and tractor beams, vicious to read, silence, shatter screams, evoking ocean keys, conquer muggle order, eliminate perceptors, penumbral quarters, revealing jungle slaughter to lust for water, materialized matter far from struggle's corner, hoping we'll be born beneath crumbled mortar, secure and safe passage through troubled waters. Thank you. Right, this is the last one I'm going to do. This one's a bit longer. This is called Demiurge's Position. And in case you don't know, the Demiurge in occultism and Gnosticism, there's this idea that the god of the material world, the god of earth, is not the good, benevolent god, but rather an evil, imposter god who is running the earth negatively. And the idea of this and I've been reading about that. And the idea of this poem is basically that if I was in charge of the universe, things would be a lot smoother. Paraclete communes inside premises intimately. Flesh becomes bare of Dracelic divinity. Blazing contaminants from degenerate ministry. Hell, her knees, the spirit self-presence infinity. Barbarous, luminous, and essence of water's legacy. Incorporating broken notions into theodicy. Causing material and spiritual deceased economy. Adam allows autonomy for Eve's orogeny. Sweeps Sophia's wisdom through Tartarus depths. Ashby ameliorated anointed, embargo death. Actualized the rich reverentry for Sarko's hex. Supreme Father's forethought through Starcove stretched. Jericho's horn, hoisted from unworthy wilders. And proposed theological function from subserviency pilfered. Calvinist cowardice debunked by divination. Ark of Covenants contest flash for vision nation. The rare virtue and binds imprisoned ancient pagan deities drifting visions creating. Contemporary revelations from dove searching. Similar constructed concepts, if love certain. Regardless will stickler of thug bursting. Moral Asmodeus ascends apostles above curtains. With motion swift, lift Samuel's blindness. But yet platonic forms tangible likeness. It's entirely intangible against the anamical vice grip. Ellis incorruptible light, fantastical writers. Decapolarized closet considering cardiac desires. Amongst areas, altruism lulls to spasm size. Hasten harbingers to revolting regimes ending. Sever suffering symbiosis to human machines' engines. Dissipate plagues, dispatch its mastodons. Withdraw whips, breaking backs of paragons. Spread salvation through anatomies homunculus. Unhardened hearts from Pharisees to Pontius. Concocted the sonatons of fallacies obvious. Exposing the scene spokesman and vanity's conduit. Ensure solar system maintains celestial harmony. Tribute tears wept to wine with martyrs bleed. This heart and dialectics develop divine spark. Twin flames propagation, signaling intertwined puffs. Cause of private for the selling Adam's operation. Revealed unconcealed by aeons of pathic corroboration. Artist optimistic rev conscious maven. Earthly heaven's blueprints reveal the prognostication. Proves from his manifold, punctuate at this boundary. Ecclesian ecstasy and humble abode found peace. Iconoclastic archangels regenerate tattered rings. Rejuvenate Job's journal from stanzas grim. Wrathful afflictions, covert chorus quickly capturing. Platonic forms, forceful emanations, scatter sin. First function, cause consensual curses evictions, view humanist commandments with superfluous description, within at a second of occupying demiurge's position, or festering malevolent forces, purged with precision. Thank you. Am I done now?
Yeah, Jack, that was amazing.
Cool.
Well done. Thank you so much for being here and for being part of WinchesterFest.
Have you heard this new poems before?
I think I've heard a couple of them. Well, actually, I've definitely heard the second and last one before. I don't know if I heard that newer one. I don't know why I haven't gone back to cancel the spotlight. Yes. 1 second. I don't usually have to do this myself. Cool. Sorry. Yeah, wicked, Jack. That was amazing. Thank you so much for being part of WinchesterFest. And yeah, do you know, it's so good to hear your voice as well, man. Like, you've done so many shows, like you've been to so many of my shows, and I've like seen you at so many different places that like it seems weird to have not heard you for like 3 months or so. Like, yeah, sorry, I just got a message in the producers chat to make sure that I know what's going on. But Jack, that was absolutely amazing. Like, thank you so much. It was really special to hear you again. It's like I get the distinct feeling that if the film A Beautiful Mind was about poetry, you would be the person that did it. Do you know what I mean? Like it was like just like whole different levels of experience here. Yeah, I'm glad that we give ourselves like a few minutes to. I'm just going to mute you now, Jack. Yeah, I'm glad that we give ourselves like a few minutes to get the next poet ready, and that because oh sweet, it was in a different order. Fantastic. Oh my god, I just had like a mini panic attack because I was like, shit, the next poet isn't here yet. That's cool. It turns out I just misread the log. So okay, so as a quick introduction for our next poet. So our next poet, thank you. So our next poet is D. Dickens. And so D I only really met through WinchesterFest, and from then we have become I'm going to use the phrase bosom buddies because that seems fantastic and I actually kind of rate that. But yeah, now we ring each other up to like rant and complain about things like, bro, I haven't had a friend like that I've made this quickly to this sort of level in maybe my entire life. Do you know what I mean? But we connect on a whole different level. And I think you once referred to me and Connor as the Anton Deck of complaining or something like that. And I think that's amazing. But D is also an absolutely fantastic performer. Like smashes absolutely everything that she does. Anything, anywhere, if it's poetry related, D is going to fucking kill it. So can we please welcome to the stage for the last time for WinchesterFest for 102 Days of Sodom, D. Dickens, everybody. Let's fucking go. Let's do it.
Thank you so much for that introduction. And yes, we do ring each other and rant about people. And long may it continue, Bo somebody. Okay, so I've got 3 poems for you. I think I've done them all at some point, though I haven't done this first one. This first one is after my man Tyrone Lewis, who did Man Walks Into a Bar, and I loved the format so much, I did this one. So this is A Horse Walks Into a Bar. Horse walks into a bar. Barman says, "Why the long face?" "PTSD," says the horse. Horse is walking down the road, catches sight of itself in a shop window and doesn't eat for 3 days. Horse gives way to another horse, because of course it does. Why wouldn't it? Stupid bloody horse. Horse gets dragged to water, it refuses to drink. Everyone nods wisely and says that's just the nature of horses. Horse bolts. Stable door gets closed. The horse is relieved it can't return to a burning barn. Horse feels the wind in its face running down a beach. Horse has dyspraxia, trips over. Horse breaks its leg and gets shot. A horse dies, still gets flogged. Horse gets changed midstream. Sure, it must have been something it did, and shaves its mane off. Horse goes into therapy. Spends the first session comforting the therapist while he cries. Horse goes home for Christmas, is warned not to be controversial, spends time throwing up everything it eats. Horse's family stages intervention, tries to tell it that Grandad was actually fine, and the horse cries itself to sleep. Horse lies on a bed of hay, fantasizing about how flammable it is. Grandad turns up to Christmas dinner. Horse tells him to stay away. Family turns on the horse, and the horse storms out. Horse walks into a bar and fucks the first stranger who buys her a drink. Thank you. So that was Horse Walks Into a Bar. I'm very aware of time and I'm keeping an eye on it, and I never usually do, so this is weird, as is being up this early. Alex, man, you must know I love you because I come up this early. Okay, so this one is Some Bright Eloquence, and I do this one a lot because it's one of my favourite poems. And in this time of Black people being murdered by oppressive state systems, I thought it important to bring a bit of hope to my community. So this is Some Bright Eloquence, and it's after Kyo Chingon. To the black girl sitting in the corner, surrounded by white friends, I see you. I see you wearing a weave that marks you as a fern among English roses. I was you, and this is for you. You are beautiful as you are. So dance. Without trying to ape the shapes of your contemporaries, move as though the mothers of your mothers taught you what your body is for, unashamed, unembarrassed, a vessel for the universe to play its music. Let your arms embrace the sky as your feet absorb the rhythm of the earth, spin with its axis. I see you, worried about how you look, absorbing words like thick so you can embrace rather than confront the curves your grandmothers gave you. I was you, starving myself so my breasts and backside wouldn't show in a world that already sees us as inherently sexual, trying to make myself invisible. You are perfect as you are. So eat. Mango, papaya, and chicken your mates proclaim they're too white for. Use your hands and let the juices run down your smiling chin. Pity laughing at the ones who've never chewed the meat from a pork chop bone. Savor every bite of rice as wild as you are. Know that it was sorted by hand to weed out any imperfections. I'll see you, struggling to accept your hair using unguents and lotions and straighteners. Oh, was you? Getting perm upon perm, killing my hair to look like the colonizers. Anything to fit in, whatever you can to be unnoticed. Please don't see me. Please don't hurt me. Please don't kill me. I can't breathe. You are faultless as you are. So get your hair cornrowed. Feel the fingers of your grandmothers entwine their stories into your tresses, making them yours to pass along. Tell your stories to girl children who are struggling. Make sure they understand they are stunning as they are. I hear you, your voice trembling as you claim your space in the world. I was you, whispering into the void of my mirror, hairbrush microphone in hand, falsetto with fear. Fear of being heard, fear of being noticed, fear of the ridicule that comes with breathing, fear of taking up room, fear of pain of being here. So sing. Let your soul resonate. Release that pain, the joy, the sheer immediacy of being alive. Open yourself to be a conduit for the ancestors. Let your song come from a choir of color. Let crowned black queens burst, fully formed from your chest. So the black girl sitting in the corner, surrounded by white friends, I say this to you. You are made for better things. Take them, embrace them, be them. Thank you. Right, I got involved in, I've got like 2 minutes left. So I really want to do this poem. So I'm going to introduce it really quick. So I got involved by doing like this thing called Uni Slam, and I was just so blown away about how poetry as a community and a family, and I wanted to write something about that and to say thank you to the WinchesterFest family, Whisky and Beards. You've been amazing, you're life-changing. I love you guys to pieces. So this is Can We Talk? Can we talk about how in calling us a community, you mispronounce family? Can we talk about how it is a family you actually enjoy being a part of? Can we talk about a safe space where no one has to wince at an incoming pronoun, where theys and thems roll off tongues belonging to surrogate parents, where acceptance is the default and not something to be prized from unwilling hands? Can we talk about how gender norms are left at the door and the only comments made are those designed to elevate? Can we talk about the neurodivergence, the allowing ourselves to be visible, the allowing ourselves to be, the feeling normal, to getting to feel comfortable? Can we talk about feeling at home in a theatre with a family we aren't afraid of, don't have to hide behind gritted grimaces to escape from, the wisps of connection between person and person, the hugs and hand holding where would usually be aversion? Can we talk about the tears shed, cleansing, healing, uniting? Can we talk about voices gone from throats still circling around the guts of poets, settling into flora, fauna, flotsam, jetsam, sinking through skins, becoming part of a whole? Can we talk about the points not being the point? Can we talk about the poetry being the point? Can we talk about how everything that leaves our mouths now is poetry? Can we talk about the permission we gave to be poetry? Can we talk about how all we do is poetry? Can we talk about how I should be studying but instead I'm writing poetry? Can we talk about how we can talk about poetry, vocalize about poetry, snap fingers that hurt so bad, poetry, but still we will do it as a way to take on the pain of the poet, to relieve them of their burden, even for a moment, to honor their bravery, generosity, tell them we see them, we know them, we love them. Can we talk about the family, the collectivity, the connectivity? Can we sit together loudly or quietly? Can we talk? Thank you so much, Whisky and Beards. Love you guys. You're amazing. You're the best.
Thank you so much, Steve. That was absolutely amazing. That was like genuinely that second to last poem. That was.
You're
I
welcome.
don't know words. I just have like weak explosion noises because I'm not actually very good at them. You know what I mean? That was poetry right there, man. Like they were all poems, obviously, but like that one, I was just like.
Very fond of that poem.
Yeah, like that was wild. Yeah, okay, so I just realised I've got to do the next introduction. I've got like 1 minute, so I'm gonna quickly hammer through it. So Lucas is our next poet up. And Lucas, I have seen perform in places like all over Kent, all over the place, doing like mad poetry things. And like it is wicked. I believe he has come second in every single slam that he's done, which is totally undeserved. He should have been first every single time. Lucas is a powerful poet. So let's go fucking nuts and let's see why I am giving this really I forgot the next words. Lucas, everybody. Yeah!
Boom! Thank you for that lovely introduction, Alex. Thank you, Whisky and Beards, for having me. Let's go straight into it. They set their sails from the homes that they left behind. They fenced all of their belongings for one chance to survive. Generations of struggle just drifted away. Family life snatched, cracked, and dead when the war came to play. He used to mend boots. He's seen what they survived. Thankfully for his wife, one bullet arrived at the right time. Two were left in her stead, society drawn back, bent and cracked. Man looks down and says, this is fight or flight. Don't look back. So off they set on their journey to paradise. Western society on TV always promotes the nice life. In reality, their homes were destroyed by our knife. His only tie to this blood-soaked soil is now his dead wife. See, these are silent voices. How many have died? Died on the shores looking for better lives. Now he tried and he tried and he tried in vain to keep water from that boat and pneumonia from that little brain. One little child lays frozen on front page news, yet he lands alive on solid ground, only somewhat bruised. The next leg is to go, the last, the hardest part, barreling down a motorway in a truck's wheel arch. Now, he tells me all this over a cup of tea, right? He's sitting there smiling with his doting new wife. They're beautiful children in this nation born, wondering why we're sending them to a place that's war-torn. You see, he's damaged from abuse that no shoes could survive, like the old sets of boots that he brought back to life. He has a family and a job and helps addicts get their life back on track. But you shouted Brexit. Send him back. I wrote that a year ago. It's a true story by a friend. Came over on the back of a lorry, illegal immigrant, and we held a party for the day that he got his passport. We had a passport party, and you know what? It's one of the most beautiful days, seeing someone so proud to get their British citizenship. Absolutely, he classes himself as a British citizen. But then the media tells him that he's not, and it's disgusting. The joy of poetry is you can write something 12 months ago, and then it will come straight back into fashion. And unfortunately, these subjects are coming into fashion far too much, and they should be forgotten about. There's another one that keeps propping around, and it's kids who are starving. So this one's called Kids That Survive in a Diet Called Breakfast. There are kids that survive on a diet called breakfast. Weet-Bix served for 10 whole days now, walking around in nutrition deficit. We wonder why our schools are going down. I've just forgotten the first line. 3 meals a day sounds nice. Proper breakfast, nice lunch, dinner with the wife. Follow it down with a Sauvignon Blanc. Chuck 40 quid on a bottle of Plonk. Benefits day hits, shoppers going mad, running around Poundland, filling up their bags. Pre-packaged further is running through the town, and they're doing a tenner a day on that legal brown. Kids that survive on a diet called breakfast. Filet mignon and petit foie gras. Bottle of Bollinger holding up the bar. Nights under dim lights, hide fights with our friends, laughing and joking to repeat tomorrow again. Kids on the streets with no shoes on their feet, hiding from the coppers, walking on their beats, sitting there shivering, starving in their seats. Their schools are the only places they eat. Kids that survive in a diet called breakfast. A mighty banquet for hundreds of peers, built on society, sustained through blood and tears. Self-gratification for the good that they employ. All those good things for public school girls and boys. Single mothers sell themselves. They sell their bodies to fill up their shelves. Their kids lying next door listening to those moans, trying to find mentors within their phones. Kids that survive on a diet called breakfast. Weetabix served for 10 whole days now, walking around in nutrition deficit. We wonder why our schools are going down. There's people spending more eating out than families survive on in a year. There's kids starving, crying to sleep in fear. We're treating it like it ain't here. This ain't the third world. This is England, dear. So that's two pretty poignant on topic poems. I like writing about things that are affecting people. And it's very rare for me to tie into feelings. This is The Wind Without Water. This is about my wife. It's a little bit of a different tempo. You are a summer stream, streaming rays of summer sun over fluttering butterflies, evanescence in their entwined rapture, only living for but a day, and in such splendor. Leaves ripple in the breeze, naturally setting motion into action. Blades of grass dance along the tree bark in the moonlight as the few stars light the path back. Some days when wind is belt embraced or stream is blowing at the banks, or days so still a bird doesn't even fly and the riverbeds almost run dry. All these days and more in between. When the weather is pleasant and all conditions are good, then the opening two phrases are true. As life is a blessing on the easiest setting, and on the hardest is often a question. Both in equal measure is the ultimate pleasure. That is the weather when I am with you. As you with the weather gives ultimate pleasure as the river and the wind do too. You are water without knowing. With the wind makes heaven to share, as water and wind combined will sing messages from angelic prayers of divine's mighty aid in the air. Thanks. Look at that, 10:07. But Alex, Connor, thank you so much, guys. Luther, you guys have been amazing. Whisky and Beards. Let's go down to Winchester and wait for this all to blow over. Thank you for having me.
Yes, Lucas. That was like your political brand of poetry is so on point. Oh, that was a great sentence. Well done, mate. Your political brand of poetry is so on point. Like that was really special. So thank you so much for being with us. Like it's so good to hear your voice and it's so good to see you perform. Like I feel like I am missing you. Like, as a I don't know, two entities swirling around a universe. Really, yeah.
I miss you too, Alex. I'll see you soon.
Right, so that brings us on to our next performer, who just showed up just in the nick of time. I've been sitting here panicking. I'm just like, but they're here now, so that's wicked. So our next performer is Rory John Castro. Now, Rory, I didn't actually know before WinchesterFest. Again, we've got another like a WinchesterFest special, if you like. I wish that rhymed, but it didn't. So Rory was suggested to me by a good friend, Sadie Davidson. She was like, this dude is real cool. Like, check out his stuff. I think you should book him. I was like, all right, I'll check out his stuff. Checked out his stuff. Lo and behold, it's really sick. It's so good. Like, it's so good. And we're just like, fuck it. Do you want to show? Like, let's get you in on the show. Like, it's gonna be fire. It's gonna be absolutely amazing. We had a little chat. He's an amazing guy as well. He's just like one of the nicest people you'll ever see. And his poetry has such an element of musicality about it. And it's really something really special to hear and something really enjoyable to be able to witness. So can we please welcome to the stage for the last time, Rory John Castro, everybody. Massive round of applause. Let's go.
Morning, Winchfest. Hope you're doing good today. This is Raw by Nature. I'm going to be doing two pieces for you today that I'm really looking forward to sharing with you all. So a big thanks for joining us and a big thanks to Whisky and Beards for the opportunity. This first piece is actually yet to be a recorded song that I wrote shortly after the 2011 riots in London. So it kind of feels apt to finally send this one on its way. So I thought I'd have a go at doing an a cappella version for you today. This is called The Devil's Playground. Where's love in this devil's playground? Staying afloat when there's treasures to be found, remaining grounded with your head in the clouds, looking for reasons to shout. Where's the love in Satan's serenity? Head forward blind, driven by nervous energy, holding stares with man who locked gaze with me, looking for something to say. My lyrics are cutting boundaries like a barbed wire fence. Idealism's living strong, but until segregation dies a death, stealing our fears, it can't be measured as a type of theft. Too busy fighting over spilt milk, Facebook likes and cyber threats. Whilst there's real life hitmen for hire, legislated by the West, selling them weapons at discounted prices, if you also buy the vest. The victims are made out to be monsters by the rest, when the real Leviathan's too busy being blinded by the heightened debts, like shiny new sugar daddies aspiring to buy the Benz. But never mind the diabetic tendencies, the bloodlines flying overheads. It's a Goliath type of battle trying to change the mindset of all these growing trends. Not enough Davids to catapult a revolution out this lion's den. Cooking up a riot, jumping from the fire into the frying pan. I'm sorry if I offend, but I've heightened my awareness and now the silence ends. I'm holding hands with the world full circle and not a line of friends. Because an eye for an eye has seen enough of all these dying men. Where's the love in this devil's playground? Staying afloat when there's treasures to be found. Remaining grounded with your head in the clouds. Looking for reasons to shout. Where's the love in Satan's serenity? Head forward blind, driven by nervous energy. Holding stares with man who locked gaze with me. Looking for something to say. So another day, another dollar is what they want you to do. Pending like sheep, daily movements always blocking the tubes. Fed big aspirations like fat asses and wobbly boobs, quality shoes, mortgage appointments, pending proposed property booms. Top of the food chain, morals, something to be forgot on the news. Ease conscience by going there soon. I'm actually booking a holiday room. Not that I'd be knocking the view, but there was a bombing a few years ago, a bitter pill to swallow, lots of horrible food. I guess that's just what foreigners do, a right royal hullabaloo, ignoring the tourism coming to Britain like the kids that are trapped in holes of canoes. They got nothing to lose apart from the pain and suffering to which they're becoming immune. I'm opened, armed and armed forces. And what this government do are probably two completely different solutions. Their excuses are total gobbledygook because we're not in the top of the loop. The bare truth of it is clearly dressed up and not in the nude. So for British and immigrants labelled as criminals, we're treated as prisoners too. Where's the love in this devil's playground? Staying afloat when there's treasures to be found. Remaining grounded with your head in the clouds, looking for reasons to shout. Where's the love in Satan's serenity? Head forward blind, driven by nervous energy. Holding stares with man who locked gaze with me, looking for something to say. This next one is called Fragments of Fury. Guessing from the numbness in my arm that we spooned again. Stressing my stomach's been rejecting all my food attempts. But knowing one day we soon be blessed, I let a screw loose so I can take off this stupid head. Remove the dead thoughts I've been sitting on since '84. Bring me to life like Super Ted. Because with a little bit of space and a cushion on the floor, there's less distance to fall. So clear it out like Nurofen and Sudafed. I don't need much at all. A roof, one in water, walls, a bed, a little nourishment. Switch it up so nature flourishes from processed food that's red. Wondering if these changes for the best. I'd take on other people's daydreams because by the time mine are brought to life, they already flew the nest. My world's a catalogue of the baddest jokes like Steve Coogan sets. Aha. So I guess I keep it simple. Eat, sleep, booze and sex. Oozes into streams too complex. A river of creativity and tears be splitting me like Budapest. I'm pent up in this inking, lid whistling like I blew the pen, running low like my Mini Cooper, fuming through the red. Life ain't fair seems one side knew the ref. I had an inkling of this test. Still, I ain't cheating to my death, but I'm shrinking at my desk, pushing me to the edge, the polished article I'm not. These are the symptoms. Threw the pledge back in the cleaning cupboard. Get out into Mother Nature, feeling fresh, but easily scuppered. You can see straight through my flesh like my soul be needing supper. Face looking like it's beaten, lips untouched, yet forever puckered. Cut my heartstrings, beating chests of my severed lovers. So I need to focus on the simple dialect, my daily bread and butter. Excuse the mess. I may get muddled. Computer text went into shuffle. Auto-correct this puzzle into something next level like a game of Rubik's chess. I'm through with fetch sizes, minimizing to a dead silence, floating in a pool of debt, swimming against the tide of mortgage advisors, drip-fed bullshit through pipettes, pinpoint to perfect, paying for a privilege or a form of imprisoning to the end. I'm sick of listening to a lifetime of foolishness. My ears being chewed to death. Many thanks for tuning in. I hope you've all enjoyed my words as much as I've enjoyed sharing them with you today. If you'd like to keep update with new releases and material, you can cop me a follow on Facebook. And when I get round to it, I'm going to be setting up a Raw by Nature website, which is coming soon. So keep an eye out. Much love and thanks again for the opportunity, and thanks for tuning in. Take care of yourselves.
Yo, dude, that was so good. Like the musicality of multi-syllables, that was on point. Also, can we just clarify that Budapest line is fucking so good. Oh my god, I was just like, oh, that's so good. Like you couldn't see this, but I was sitting in my room being like
much love, man. That means a lot.
Man,
Thank
I
you.
love that. That was like it's definitely like, obviously this festival is so high already, and to add this element of musicality into it, into like really complex multi-syllables, that was mate, that was special. That was
Thanks,
thank
man.
you so
Thanks,
much.
man. No, I'm glad I can add that sort of element to what you're doing. So yeah, it's a pleasure, and thank you again.
Oh man, I love it. I cannot wait until we can go for a pint and I can see it on open mic.
Mate, sick, and I'll start polishing these off for you as well. So yeah, I enjoy sharing them. So yeah, it's good to have you guys on board, and yeah, it means so much. It means so much.
Sick, brother. Right, so this brings us on to words. This brings us on to our next poet. Now, our next poet is Louise Devermay, and I apologise if I just butchered your last name, but I'm not very good at reading French words. I'll give it a go in future, a better go in future. But so Louise was very kind to send me her first book. It was just like, can you have a read of it? And you know what? I was honestly so surprised at the level of depth that was in it, the level of emotion that was conveyed to these pages. And I probably should have told you this when I but no, I'm going to use it as the introduction. Yeah, I was genuinely surprised with the level of depth and the level of emotion in the pages. The artwork was amazing, but I want to focus on the poetry. She has an uncanny ability to take you on a journey that says so much on so many different levels. And the overarching story, I'm not going to ruin the book for you because I want you to buy it, but the overarching story of it is incredibly touching, and it has these under themes, if you like, these sub themes that sort of weave in and out of the text and in and out of the images, and they capture you and they keep you there. And even at some points when you're just like, this is too much, I want to leave, they're just like, no, I'm the one with the key, and you're going to be staying with me until we're finished. And it's actually it's really powerful stuff. So can we please welcome to the stage for the last time for WinchesterFest, Louise Devermay, everybody. Let's go fucking nuts. Yeah.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for the kind words, Alex. It means so much. You just made my day. I just woke up, but you've made my day. So sorry for the shit lighting, but apparently my light bulb just broke. Also, sorry for the noise. I've got a company working in my house. The world is against me right now. But anyways, I'll try to do 2 poems anyway. The first one is called No Eulogy. I haven't done it in a while. There is a corpse on my bedroom floor. It's cowered against the wall and one eye is open like a fish on a stall. I shut mine and pray I wake up. I count to 3, close my fist, hit my knee, pinch my arm, twist, but the dull pupil is still deep in the skull. Accusingly staring at me. Why staring at me? I look for a note, but there is none. No news, no gun, no memory of the night, a clue of a fight, no sense to be made of the scene of the crime, just a crushing feeling the fault might be mine. In this new light, it becomes clear to see the red under my nails, the knife under the bed, the truth under the void, the chaos in my head. Perched up my pillow, I am cornered and accused by organs painting the carpet, screaming at me, we are the witnesses, and the blood is on your hands. Minutes form hours. Days melt into years as light turns and turns in the shape of the pains, and I sit for my life sentence. Out of time, out of place, out of breath, out of words to seize the weight of death. Trapped by an empty skull in a prison of my making, I watch this room turn into a vault, for I am my own murderer, and I demand my own execution. The shy sunrise of summer days now shines through the window, glistens on the guts spilling on the lino. A daisy between my fingers, I pick the petals and sing the truth about love, let them fall in the profusion of crimson. I watch red pierce through the delicate whites, think of the last person that wronged me, made me silently beg for what I'm given to see. Wonder if they're sorry, wonder if they would be. Remember what the sun promised when you were alive, my friends. Could you trust it in the end? Remember what the light promised, realize everything pure is dishonest, any truth is to be stained. Remember what they all promised. Will you be missed? If you're foolish enough to trust, then you are brainless enough to die, a poison burning your throat each time you would swallow a lie. Who were you anyway to believe in a better ending? You never cheated fate, never rewrote your tragedy, bathing in your own piss, reveling in your own misery. Now you're lying on my feet, blood-matted hair soaking my sheet, reek filling up the air. Soon your flesh will rot and I will watch, and when the worms commit your skin, I must destroy and taste the salt of all the sweat of self-pity that smears the rest of your carcass. I'm not sorry, this is my place. You're trashing it. You made your bed, go lie in it. But suddenly the eye is mine and the body is my body. The hot on the floor is the one that I wore on my sleeve one too many times. The open stomach is filled from turning to the wrong words. The eye melted from crying the wrong tears. I am the cadaver of all hope, what ifs and firsts. And yet this is the first time anyone will attend their own funeral. So bring out the trumpets and open this casket, dress me pretty, powder my cheeks to cover the holes, and I'll smile for my final bow. Dear past me, for lack of an eulogy, accept my sin-stressed apology. For the naivety written on your half-blown-off face was the most fatal gift I could have given you. Like an answer, your soul light blinks. I blink back. Without looking away, you fold an arm, push the ground with one hand and sit right up. You cough and clot splash on the floor. I can see your lungs spazzing in between the remaining bones. I notice for the first time that your lips are soon shut. Then effortlessly you stand up, turn around and head for the door. Your body parts are still laying behind and you vanish without look back. I can't open my mouth to tell you. I am but a corpse on my bedroom floor. I'm cowered against the wall and one eye is open like a fish on a stall. And I am never waking up again. Thank you. That was the first one. Let me just close my window real quick. The second one, if I find it, is my favorite one. It's called Colors. Many have met the girl. She tiptoes between the hands of the clock. She's always dancing and calling like the dying flame of a mounting candle, and they're always following, trying to catch a fantasy as she glides in and out of light, sliding between the fingers. She knows the shadows and knows the game all too well. The hand she is dealt, the end precedes the beginning in her mind, but she plays anyway. So if you have the chance of meeting the girl, look as she takes off the bows, watch her detach the pearls. Feel your nacreous illusions fall to her feet, hear the soft rustling of the satin deposing on your innocence. Hold your breath as laces unlace and ties untie. Before you stands the naked truth. You may now observe the bare curves of your favorite illusion as the neon light reveals her true colors. Bloodstains shining black. Cigarette burns stand out in a ghastly white. You can count the fights she's picked on the dark red bruises of her knuckles, the betrayals on the brown scars of her body, the old promises on her chopped off pinkies. She's an artwork made of the most subtle brushstrokes, merging together for almost 20 years to form a unique picture, but you are colorblind. And the only shade you see is your own burning desire, painting the room and her. She's only a white canvas to you, and you make her exactly what you need her to be. Your eyes and hands travel down her frame and project your own fantasies onto her like a blank doll. She likes to think that once undressed, she is the enemy. She's killed you 6 times in her head already, but you don't see it. The shivers under your fingers will fool your grand ego, and the goosebumps will harden your intentions. Like the candle drops, she will turn stiff and cold under your touch. She will silence her recall and count the seconds passing, and you will mistake compliance for compliments and burn her down with no remorse. I pray you don't meet the girl. She has lived on promises and died on lies. She has known loves, but no great love. She has known pain, but no solace. She is not the one you see, but the one hidden behind your ignorance. And if you happen to be wise, and not only look with your dirty eyes, but with your whole soul, then I pray you don't fall in love with the girl. Because the image you think you know so well is but a reflection of all things past. And you may have learned the lines traced by the pencil, and you may have dreamt of the blend of colors of her cheek, but she's been painted over so many times that she forgot what her first draft looked like. She is a melted candle, and no flame is dancing in the shadows tonight. That's it, that was colors. Well, I think that must be 7 minutes, so that's all for me. Thank you so much for having me for the last one, Alex. I'll stay in.
I was going to say you're absolutely more than welcome. That was magical, and I'm really glad that I gave you this like what I would hope was a really good introduction, and you absolutely smashed it out the fucking water. So thank you so much for that. Like, you killed it. Like, that was really touching, and also remarkably dark, and like that I feel like that's so on brand. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was really good. Like, I really enjoyed it. So thank you so much for being with us, and thank you so much for obviously performing with us today and before in the past. Don't know why before in the past suddenly makes sense, but there we are. Okay, so that brings us on to our next performer, and we got something special for you. So obviously, part of WinchesterFest, we have a whole bunch of different producers that obviously produce different shows, because that's what a producer does. Well done, Alex. But we got a whole bunch of different producers, and we are lucky enough to have one of those producers who is about to perform with us now. So Claudia Volpe is our next producer. Now, Claudia is also my intern, which is wild, right? But she is my intern for editing poetry and editing prose, editing writing, just editing. She's my editing intern. And I just want to say, honestly, from where I've seen you, where I saw you start out as a poet and where I saw you start out as an editor and as a producer, you have come so far. Your work is so incredible. Like, it's quite cool, actually. I need to check it, but I don't need to go over it with this like huge, like a magnifying glass sort of thing, because everything that you do is amazing. Or the poetry that you write is beautiful. Like, the conversations that you and I have, like just casually chatting, they mean so much to me, and I am genuinely so lucky to have a friend like you in my life, especially someone that I can work with on their poetry and who can work with on mine, because I love you and I trust you. Could you please welcome to the stage Claudia Volpe, everybody. Big round of applause.
Thank you, Alex. Okay, maybe I should save my cry for later, made me emotional. Thank you so much. I love you too. Yeah, it's been great to be part of WinchesterFest. So these 2 poems are for you, for everybody who's followed us. And yeah, enjoy. I taste like rainbows. I surprise you with eccentric flavors, leaving your mouth watery when you haven't had enough. I rinse your palate with holy water, baptize your throat with salt and vinegar to dress the bitterness I leave with each kiss. I pull you in a little closer. The tip of my tongue complements the sugar on your lips. I suck on them like bees on teaspoons, squeezing your shoulders in between my fingers to the last drop. I taste like lollipops, like summer days on the seaside and sand on my skin, of screams and kites and fights and sunset and pink cotton candy for two. I taste like icicles, running shivers down your spine as I switch your taste buds for a brain freeze. I watch you catch your breath, slowly coming back to reality. I taste like rainbows. I surprise you with eccentric flavors, leaving your mouth watery when you haven't had enough. You forget I can keep my mouth shut. Thank you. That's the first one. And the second one is like my all-time favorite. I just love performing this one. I should at some point learn it, but you know, not yet. You turn the lights off, saying you like it like that. And I wonder, what's that to like if I don't see what I'm touching, kissing, holding? If I don't see where my skin ends and yours begins, and I can't connect the dots on your stomach, then how do I know what's my favorite constellation to spot when we lay together in this private garden of pillows and blankets and more pillows because you like it like that? You said you want your body on a soft cloud to follow your head. All the times it goes up there and doesn't come down anymore. You said it's so far, you can never reach it. Always an inch away from your grasp, from your heart, from all the do's and the don'ts and all the pros and the cons lists you make, hanging around your room because you like it like that. You said they remind you of every decision you had to face, of what's best for you by hurting others, and happiness has a price sometimes. But darling, oh darling, I like it like that. I say I'm ready to pay any price for your happiness and your lists and your clouded head and the pillows where you rest your face at night and the blankets we hide under. I say live on all the lights because I like it like that. I say I want to see the curve of your smile right before I hold your face, kiss your freckles, touch every single inch of you and make you my everlasting supernova. Thank you. Yeah, so this is me. I'm gonna leave the stage to the next wonderful poet. Thank you, Alex, for having
Claudia?
me, and thank you. Yes.
I was going to say just this quick thing. You've actually got 4 minutes left if you'd like to.
Oh, okay, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I did not say, I thought it was longer. Anyway, that's next one then. 3 people walk into a bar and they find me with my head on my left hand and vodka in the other, looking for answers at the bottom of the glass. The last drop burns my throat, but I can't find a single word. I just ask for one more double, the last one, I swear. To myself and the bartender, neither of us is fooled. It's bottoms up till I can't stand. I can't hold a glass in my hand, and I know I shouldn't have held so many before, but we all have sorrows to drown. I laugh alone as the drunks do, because I find it so funny that drowning is one of my worst fears, and maybe this is a joke. I switch to wine, red, to match my eyes after crying all night and the one before that, and pretty much every night in the past month, and I stopped there because I can feel the peaty eyes now. How I wonder, how did I leave myself become this mess of a woman wrapped up in classy clothes with the hope that holds me together? Second glass, rosé. Third, cocktail, to better forget the eyes that before pity had love in them. Profound affection, now I'm affected by the absence and by yours. I take another sip. I just remember that you left me hanging with 1,000 questions you will never answer, and I'll never have the courage to ask why I trusted you, why you played me, why is my glass empty? Fourth glass, scotch. I don't even like scotch, but my tongue doesn't know, because this is definitely not my fourth. I had to start over when I lost count. You left my heart in the lost and found box. When you got bored, you could have returned it to the sender like an Amazon package, not carefully handled, even if you can read massive capital letters shouting, fragile. I trusted you. Now I'm just ashes of a half-smoked cigarette forgotten in the ashtray, because you had no time to stay. So you went away from me, away from the ghost of what it could be. I thought I was scared, but you were already running. 5, Shandy. Or maybe brandy, I'm really not sure. Everything looks blurred, like the edges of every lie you put together to justify your mood swings. I am not a playground. And yet you walked all over me, and I let you, and I begged you to stay, grab the cigarette from the ashtray so we can smoke together on your doorstep, out in the cold was not, because I felt warm every time you took a drag and looked at me. Perhaps I should have some water to wash this all down, to get rid of the salty tears on my lips that still remember the taste of yours. Thank you. I think now I've reached the 7 minutes. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you're all good, man. That was genuinely. Oh man, I love hearing your poetry so much. I love I tell you what, I just love hearing your voice, man. I'm so glad that we're broke.
Thank you.
Oh
yeah, of course. I'm one of the bros.
Yeah, you're one of the bros. It's calm. It's Clam.
It's Clam.
She's an in-joke that I realised no one else is going to get, so that's cool. WinchesterFest in-joke. It's Clam. Anyway, so yeah, Claudia, that was absolutely magical. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I believe that you're going to be hosting a segment later. Is that correct?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
I should definitely have known that. Yes. So anyway, that's going to bring us on to our next poet, who is the current Kent Slam champion poet of poetry. That was so badly phrased. Yeah. So yeah, our next poet is Pauline Holmes, and Pauline Holmes is. I'm right. This is now official. I'm making this an official. Why not? An official statement. All right. Pauline Holmes is the nicest poet in Kent. I've said it. I've said it now. I think this is a fact. Like, even when Pauline is up on stage and absolutely slaughtering other slam poets, she is just so kind about it and so nice. And you can sit down afterwards, you can have a chat, and just be like, "How are you?" And she will tell you all of these wonderful stories, like stuff that you've. I've just got a message that all it says is "shots fired." Yeah, and we'll sit down after you and have a chat and just be like, "How are you? Do you want to talk about some dogs? Let's have a chat about some dogs." And she will perform, and there will be dogs there, and it is genuinely a magical experience. And we're lucky to have her with us today. I mean, we're so lucky to have everyone today, but in particular, I love Pauline. I love her work, and I'm so glad that you are one of my friends. So, can we please welcome to the stage Pauline Holmes, everybody? Big round of applause.
Thank you so much. I'm actually quite welled up now, so I'm just going to take a second or two to that was really lovely, Alex. Thank you so much. Thank you. I love being part of the poetry community in Kent. You've got something really special going on there, and I've had and am still having a wonderful time. So I've got 2 poems to share with you this morning, and I've chosen them because neither of them would exist if I didn't go to workshops and creative writing groups. The first one comes from Wordsmithery, and the prompt was a quote from Charles Dickens. It was the best of times, the worst of times. And so this is what I came up with. Summer, 1976. And Tina's 16 and the Pentagon shopping centre's all shiny and new. Inside she hangs out with her mate Nadine in platform shoes and bell-bottom jeans. Nadine's got her head in the charts. Jimmy Savile has her heart. Best DJ ever. Best singer? Gary Glitter. They've been to see him. Scarves wrapped round their wrists, the pair got pissed on Cinzano and lemonade. Just about made it onto the last train before walking home alone. Tina met her boyfriend Paul at the Court School of Ballroom Dancing. Sounds crass in the 21st century, but everyone went to the court back then. A waltz and a wimpy. That was your highlight of a Saturday night in Chatham. Taxman takes 35% of Tina's wage. She does a shift at Better Bakes. Paul's at the dockyard. A job for life. That's what the careers teacher said. He's 19, already wants to marry her. But he's got a rival, her ex-boyfriend, Dave. Tina's parents have never taken to Paul. They're religious. He's not. They think Dave's a better catch. It doesn't matter he's 22 and lapsed. He's the prodigal son they never had. They don't know he likes a drink. And Tina's quiet about why they split. She kept the bruises hidden. Paul lights Tina's ciggy. She's been smoking since she was 12. Her eyes look beautiful in the matchstick flame. I love you, babe, he whispers. Yeah, me too, she smiles. Zoom forward 40 years and what have we got? The Me Too movement. Perverts and bullies held to account, people shout about injustice. They've cottoned on to the mighty who claim that they know best. Tina's parents should have relied less on God to protect their daughter. They should have seen the bruises on her wrists, smelled the alcohol on her breath. Dave's doing a stretch on Dartmoor. They found his wife's body under the shed. She'd been dead for 20 years. The dockyard closed in 84. Paul got made redundant. Interest rates were sky high, but then the economy burst. Negative equity done him in. Still, the building society were kind. They added his old debt onto his new mortgage in Brighton. Chatham's different today. Dockside has stolen all the trade. And empty doorways have become home to the homeless. Tax rates are very low. But the poor have to go to food banks for help. Tina and Paul split. She got sick of life at home. Got herself a grant, trained to be a nurse like Nadine. They married each other in 2014. Retired last year, but came back to help out in the pandemic. Denied proper PPE, they caught the virus, but they were lucky. They're out there again on the front line. Proper heroines, those two. We've come so far, yet stepped backwards at the same time. Who knows what the future holds? Dave's hoping he's going to get parole, but there's not much chance of that. They found another 2 bodies behind the fireplace. So that's that one. This other one came from Dead Horse Writers, and the prompt we were given was to write something and keep repeating words and phrases from previous lines. And it's just a bit of fun. And it's called In My Dreams. In my dreams, I watch myself making mistakes. Missed takes because I hesitate to take chances. Chances are my dreams are not what they seem. They seem real, but they're not. They are not real. Or are they? Are they real? Really? I could be dreaming now, perhaps. Perhaps now is the dream. The dream is real, maybe. Or maybe reality is not real. Not real? Or is it? Is it? Is it here, and now? What if now is the dream? What if I'm dreaming now? What if I'm dreaming I'm awake? But I'm awake now. So it can't be a dream, can it? Can it be I'm dreaming I'm awake? See, I'm always awake in my dreams. In my dreams, I never sleep. Ever. Every time I go to sleep, I dream I'm awake. I'm awake now. So does that mean I'm actually asleep? Do I leap from one state to another now? Now, when I'm unconscious, I'm definitely asleep, but as no one is conscious of being unconscious, how do I know? How do I know if I've ever actually been to sleep or if indeed I've ever actually been awake? So there you go. That's me. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much, everybody at WinchesterFest. You have done such an amazing job. You should all be so proud of what you've done. Stay well, stay safe, everybody, and I hope our paths cross soon. Bye.
Pauline, that was too much for me this early in the morning. I have like horrible insomnia. Like you're going to keep me awake for years to come. Years to come, I say, years to come. Yeah, thank you. That was magnificent. Also, we had a message that came through that said, Pauline, very nice that she can be whipping your ass in a slam, and you'll be like, I hope she wins. And I think that just says everything about you. Do you know what I mean? So thank you to Connor Sansby for that lovely little note. But yeah, I just like that last poem. It makes me just wonder if you've ever done acid. I mean, that's really where I am on this. Yeah, just like that sounds like an awake at 4 a.m. while still tripping, sort of being like, what is awake? Do you know what I mean? Like that was, yeah. Also, you can't see this. No one else can see Pauline, but she's like, bruv, I do acid all the time, like every day of the week. Like I don't even have any dogs. You just think that I do. That's how much acid I do. No, Pauline doesn't really do acid, probably. I don't know. I probably shouldn't make these jokes. Sorry about that. In my head, it seemed really funny, but I've only had like 3 hours sleep, so what the fuck do I know? Or was it sleep? Anyway, so right, we're going to be moving on to our next poet, who we've got another. For me, it's a first timer for me. So I haven't actually seen any of. I'm gonna hopefully not get this name wrong because it's got a hyphen where I wasn't expecting it. Kaz Evan Potterton Taylor. Is that correct? Yeah, I think there was a nod there. We're gonna say that's correct. So I've never seen Kaz's work before. But Claudia tells me that they are actually really, really good, and we know how much I love Claudia, so we're going to take this as like an absolute, like, you were going to be amazing. That is how this worked. Claudia is very rarely wrong on these sorts of things, so I am actually so ready to see you perform. So can we please welcome to the stage Kaz Evan Potterton Taylor, everybody. Big round of applause, please.
Hello. I would like to note that the Potterton Taylor is hyphenated because I got very drunk and married my best friend in a pub car park once. But that's a story for another time. I've got a couple of poems you'd say. One's kind of about the futility of human existence, so I've got one that's slightly happier afterwards, and hopefully they're at least half decent. So this one's called Legacy. It was for a school slam jam in 2017, so I wrote this when I was 16, bear with. The concept of legacy astounds me. As a race, we are truly obsessed with creating something confounding to survivors, with escaping our outstanding irrelevance. We clamour for any shred of fame or glory, ill-content until secure in the knowledge that in the far future, someone will tell our story. But if legacy really is planting seeds in a garden you never get to see, why do we overlook the blatant truth? that there is every chance that a round man with an ugly mustache and no regard for your efforts will ride in on a bulldozer, axe down the trees, dig up the flowers, plant a factory on top, drop their legacy and hide your way. You need only ask Nikola Tesla about his garden, torn up by the man who invented the light bulb. But there's a lot of effort to be remembered these days, for acts of good at least. Destruction lingers in the mind far longer than the actions of a modern messiah. Devote your life to revolutionizing hiccup treatments, or spend 1 week blowing up monuments. Roll the dice of remembrance, be an attacker or a victim. All you have to do is kill or die. But memories fade. In centuries to come, no one will remember the rememberers, let alone remember you. You'll be a life that came and went, a fraction of a second in relation to all of time and space, because the human being's job is simply to be. Exist for a while and move on. Move on to a different plane of reality, or just cease to exist, because it all ends eventually. It all ends. Yet each of us seems in love with the idea of future generations pasting our faces on Facebook with a set of dates with a paragraph of mourning, how they changed the world. That's the plan, isn't it? Change the world. We have romantic fantasies of martyrdom, but we don't want to die. Ironic. Truly ironic. Legacy lasts not for those unwilling to make great sacrifices. When we finally kick the bucket, those nearest and dearest will have the clearest memories, and when they're gone, those who remembered are forgotten, and the memories continue to fade, like ink on the frail pages of an old notebook written by a nameless kid with quixotic dreams of his words outliving his body. What is legacy but an ill-satisfying history lesson, and a Google Doodle ignored by the masses? That was a bit dull, wasn't it? My next one, it's called The Difference Between Time Lords and Humans, and is written from the perspective of the Doctor from Doctor Who, and about loving how charming humanity is. Perhaps the only true difference between me and my big blue box and you all sat there drinking tea and watching Corrie is simply that I'm up here and you're down there. Because at the end of the day, neither of us really understand how or why we're here, and that's ironic, or rather appropriate, some may argue, because monocopsis is a less than familiar sensation, alien even, but existential crises are inherently human. Ah, humans. The good old human race, spectacularly dull anatomy. 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 sugars in your coffee, but only 1 heart. If only you could all learn to love as one. However, you never cease to amaze an old man, a really old man, because you're so intricately simple. No, your hardware is, but the software is incredible. Never in my painfully long life have I met a race that think and feel and imagine as beautifully as you do. No other planet has 7,099 languages to communicate between a single species. 7,099 ways to describe a rainbow. 7,099 ways to word the feeling of warm socks on a winter's day. 7,099 ways to say, I love you. In English alone, you have a word for the fear that a duck is watching you, and a word for throwing someone out of a window, but you're just a simile away from a clinical addiction to figurative language because you can't concisely capture how it feels to lock eyes with someone special, or the way one sentence can transform an existence. You're so charming, so human. Sleep is integral to homeostasis, but it can be inhibited by anticipation alone. You can forget to shower for upwards of a month, but go years without ever forgetting to water your succulents because Lawrence Brickard there on the windowsill is clearly the priority. You can live on crackers for a week because shopping can wait till tomorrow. But when a hedgehog appears on your lawn, it's a state of national emergency because you've already named him, and God damn it, we need dog food stat, we're not letting John die. You've got monarchies, dictatorships, and democracies, all trying to pilot this sphere of land all at once, all over the place. And yet you still can't quite seem to get it right. Of course, if you didn't elect infants to govern your superpowers, big red buttons that make things go boom wouldn't be a concern. But a salad of ideals tossed by kids who think this and adults who know that never makes it to the plates of the people. They never get that satisfaction. Utilitarianism can only get you so far, that is, if it operates in the first place. Perhaps that's why utopia is such a dystopian concept. I can only hope you eventually figure it out. But I digress. The mighty human race. You may be stupid, but you're never boring. And let me tell you, not a single one of you has ever been or will ever be unimportant. So, own your imperfections. Let go of the past. Grab hold of the present and make your future magnificent. Thank you very much. If you want to see more of what I do, I occasionally post on Facebook, facebook.com/castpotslam. But yeah, thank you for having me.
Cass, you actually have 2 minutes left if there's anything that you'd like to say or promote, or a short poem that you'd like to read.
I have a very, very short poem, if I can find it, about poetry. Let's find it in my big old book, because I have everything handwritten rather than typed up, which would make sense. Let's find it. Here we go. This is called Recreational Poet, and I didn't tell you this one. Olivia's got a phone out in the class, texting. Not a care in the world. I fidget with my phone in my lap, laying out the base for a new acrostic under the table. Josh is on lookout as Bradley slips Beth a fag behind the bike sheds. I dodge the gaze of the head before handing out haikus next to the skip. A hoodie flings his old trainers over the power line, looks around. No one saw. He hopes to make a pretty penny tonight. I've left a fountain pen on the 4th lamppost. I've got odes to spare if you've got the cash. Flashing lights, piercing sirens. He runs as fast as he can, but Jordan's busted now, caught in the act. I'm backed into a corner. They can't take me, not now. I promise, officer, the sonnets are medicinal. I'm part of an underground ring of writers doing unspeakable things with language, skulking in the shadows with half rhymes and metaphors in Ziploc bags. I'm a recreational poet, and if anyone asks, I was never here. That's all I've got. But thank you.
Yes, that was actually like, that was, I don't know, like once again, like a poet I haven't heard. It's like, I don't know what I was expecting, but that was like, that was so good. that Doctor Who Gallifreyan poem thing. I don't know why I said Gallifreyan, humble brag that I know what that is. That's all that was. But yeah, that was so on point. That was just like so on point. Like everything about it was. I was just like, yes, these are things that happen. These are things that I know. John the Hedgehog. I know that. We must get dog food. You are correct. That is a guaranteed fact. Like, yeah, it genuinely incredibly touching, interesting, and like funny work. And your delivery was like, mate, I just loved it. I just really enjoyed it. So thank you so much for being here. Like that was, yeah, it was great. I'm just rambling. Yeah, I had a great time. I'm having a great time. There's still a great time to be had. All people are having a great time. Oh shit. That's fine. Sorry, I'm surrounded by wires and like tablets and screens and stuff. It's like I'm being birthed out of the Matrix. But it's actually because all of my tech is fucking rubbish and none of it works properly. So I just need to like a million things to be able to run this one string. And that's why I swore, incidentally. That's what that was. So anyway, we're going to move on to our next poet. And it's, you know what, this is the final poet for the section that I am hosting. And so yeah, this is like a really big for me because this is essentially when I end them, when I finish them, that will be the last part of WinchesterFest that I'm having a part of. So this is a really emotional time for me. And I even at one point I don't have a mic, but I've got a hairbrush, so I'm going to do a mic drop hairbrush in a bit. It's going to be great. I wish I hadn't spoiled that by telling you in advance, but now we know. Now we know what to expect. It's good to know. Anyway, so that brings us on to our final poet for my hosting section. And this poet you will have seen everywhere. And when I say everywhere, I don't mean everywhere in Kent. I don't mean everywhere in the UK, because suddenly they're the only two places that exist in this thing. Anyway, but I mean everywhere as in everywhere in the world. Performed in the Philippines. I want to say performed in Japan. I know that they performed in America because I performed with them. Humble brag, because I performed with them. And it was, yeah, every single time blows people out of the water with some really, really surreal sort of peculiar, clever, and often touching, but often like so bizarre sort of work. And the last time that I saw him, there was a light. Poetry needs more light shows. We need more light shows in our lives.
Hello, Alex. Hello, Alex. My name is Dre Zera, and I have to say thank you very much for the intro. I have got 3 poems for you. So the first one is, do you think you know me? It goes a bit like this. Now you say you know me, but how much do you really know me? Yes, you know my name, my age, and my birthday, but all of this is just strapped up paper that any of us can obtain. You could tear the front page and gobble it up, but that is nowhere near enough to read the full story. Life is not a joystick of A, B, and C. Life is not an RPG from start to finito, amigos. Life is full of the most complex algorithmic functions that not even the most prolific professors or mathematicians of mathematicians can equate to me or any of you. Life is not a fairy tale. What I post publicly is my painted heart from the heart. But I nay bother with pointless tropes of signaling tribe quizzes such as, how many children am I going to get? Or what year am I going to die? Because it is, whilst I admit, it has its novelty charm and insult and harm for JavaScript data to detect who I am. But who am I? A mask-wearing hooded male that does spoken word literature, music, and the like. A colourful personality that has an extrovert persona in front of others. Who am I? For what I am not is a label. I was not born to be boxed up and taped shut to follow the traditional stream. I was born to find my own river of dreams, so I could run away from severed screams and breathe on my own without despair. No longer I am haunted. Forever I continue my chapter. But do you think you know me? Nobody truly does. Nobody, including me. Thank you. And so, you know, as this is WinchesterFest, and this is the very last event of this 102-day extravaganza, I thought to myself, you know what? WinchesterFest needs to hear a poem that has never, ever been performed before. This is the honor of the mask. This is not a prop. This is not a game. I appear in front of you, not the man behind the mask, but the mask and man are in unison. Do you understand? People don't understand the honor. People don't understand the pride. People just see it as material decoration, yet people don't see the elation of representing what is deep to you, deeper than the seabed, deeper than the soul, deeper than the darkness, deeper than the light. The honor of this mask represents all my emotions and intonation of me and my story. I honor this mask with all its darkness and light. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. And now, before I do my final poem and the final bit of Alex Vellis's hosting, just want to say I've got this little wonderful message here. So for all those that don't know, it is Alex Vellis's birthday tomorrow. And so I wrote, happy birthday, Alex, for tomorrow. Woo! So please, guys, give Alex some love. Send Alex your support on the live. Tell him happy birthday for tomorrow. Alex has done an amazing job. And after this WinchesterFest event, he can just relax, enjoy his birthday however he pleases. And big shout out to Connor, Sam, Tate, Claudia, so many people that have worked for WinchesterFest under Whisky and Beards. Much love to you. And so I've got a poem that mentions Alex Vellis. This is I Like Trains. I like trains. I like trains. I really like trains. Did you know I really like trains? When I arrive on that platform 2, and then the tannoy goes, "The train to Ipswich calling out," I lose myself with the adulation and excitement to the point I forgot the rest of the calling words because I'm about to board the train. Hooray! Yes! It is a ride with a stuttering speed slowing down in mph. Usually, the train is a few minutes delayed due to British National Rail's strong and stable robustness. But in any case, the mechanical stallion has opened its doors for yours truly to step right in. In all my thousands of miles of travel by rail, its journey and majesty bring forth tales of unpronounceable names such as Troy Diamou, to the tranquility of Torbay Bay Bear, with the palm trees of Riviera brilliance. To hang with the likes of Alex Vellis, to Clive Osmond, to Chloe J, is ever so pleasant and effervescent. Give me a moment for I compose myself before I get all mushy, wishy-washy inside, for I really, really love train. Thank you very much, guys. My name is Dre Zera. All my social media links will be at the Whisky and Beards live stream. And of course, if you'd like to check out my book, Broken Circle Board, you can. Thank you. My name is Dre Zera, and I shall zero later. Goodbye.
Okay, thanks. Like, I don't think I've ever been mentioned in a poem before. Definitely not one that was so like sexual towards trains. Like, I think that's what just happened. Yeah, Dre Zero, obviously that was amazing. I love performing with you, and I'm so glad that we've got to do so many shows together. I really hope that we get to do so many more in the future when lockdown is over. Yeah, that was exactly what I thought it was going to be. That was just so fucking weird and wonderful, and I really enjoyed it. So thank you so much. He's right, it's my birthday tomorrow, so I've got to go build a treehouse in the woods because I'm not accepting that I'm going to be 32. So there we are. But I'm going to hand you over to another WinchesterFest producer. Can we please welcome to the stage Laura Kestrel, everybody? Mic drop, bitches, I am out. I'm done. Goodbye. Still.
Hello everyone and welcome to the massive finale event of Winchester Fest. I'm super excited to be here. I'm Laura Kestrel. I'm one of the producers for Winchester Fest and I hope that you're all good. I just need to try. Yeah, so I'm waiting for our first performer. So hopefully they are on the way soon. But until then, you get to put up with my voice. So, what can I say about Winchester Fest? Well, it's been 102 days of pure delight, pure stress. But no, it's been a lot of fun, and we've met some really cool poets, and we've met some really cool artists, and I'm very excited that they are going to be joining us on the stage today. So the first performer we have, they're called Arden. They believe in kind of blurring the boundaries between genres. They've got their poetry collection coming out soon. They've been shortlisted for the London Writers Poetry Award in 2018. I haven't heard them perform yet, so I'm actually very, very excited to hear them, and I cannot wait. Blurring the boundaries between genres. They've got their poetry collection coming out soon. Arden, are you ready to take the stage? Just when you think you've worked out Zoom. Okay.
Are we ready? Hello,
Perfect.
hello
Arden,
everybody.
you're with us.
Hi,
Hello.
sorry.
No, sorry
My
about that.
computer's very slow.
Zoom wouldn't let me unmute you. I don't know why. Apologies. So I'm really excited to welcome you to the stage. And can I just say, what a dashing jacket.
Thank you very much. I don't need a reason to dress up, but if I did, this would be one. Thanks
But
very much for having me today.
Of course, I'm really
I'm
happy that you
Arden
can be
Fitzroy,
here. I'm really happy that you can be here. We have a
reporting to you from
Where are you calling us from today?
my abode.
Where are you based normally? Where's your usual?
I'm in North London.
North London, fabulous.
All day, every day. And it's
Okay.
day 106, and I've somehow not done any Zoom poetry in all that time. I guess eventually it had to happen.
Well,
So
I'm
here
super
I am.
glad you could join us for the finale. Like I was saying to our audience just now, I've never heard you perform before, so I'm really excited to hear you.
Thank you.
Whenever you're ready, take it away. Yeah, thank you for being here.
Cool. So yeah, as I said, this is my first poetry Zoom, so if there are any technical difficulties or any weirdnesses, please bear with me. It's a learning curve. I'm trying to open my poem. Yes, so I'm going to share 3 poems with you. Gosh, this is so weird performing on Zoom. I'm used to being in like a room and feeding off people's energy and vibing and seeing people's faces and reactions. Right, I'll get to it then. So weird. This is called Garbage Day. I am the trash child of the century. Rough basket-bursted beast, found in stony rubbish, branded base, trouble. Tribal fop of dispossession, dressed in plastic, choked, chock-a-block, fossil burnt, no range of ocean to be a lost generation, neither angel-headed nor howling for the 10 good years left on this baby earth, but damn, we're on our knees, PhD baristas, charity shop weekday fashionistas, only alive from one day to the next, scrolling down scrolling, and everyone's game, everyone's gone, everyone's aged. When I close my eyes, no shirt, no shoes, no future. Only the low end repackaged in the devil's couture. So the tongue trips down gaslit streets, flashing all in your head. It's all in your head. It's just an angry adult left with the problems of the trash child of the century. First of their scratched out name, breaker of brains, welcome to the dumpster. We steaming, streaming trash children, overspilling as we all look to the staring sun. And now I'm going to line up the second. Oh gosh, this computer just keeps getting stuck and I keep getting this spinny beach ball of death guy. Yeah. Bear with me. I'd like to introduce to you my phone. That's where all the magic happens, from where I'll be accessing this next poem. It's called, oh, computer's up. But how wonderful the excess. King Lear is tearing off his clothes, howling pathos overspilling into Reservoir Dogs torture scenes, decadent desserts of grief, neatly catalogued under Sic Semper fetish, finger-licking pages turning the wheels of consumption. It only counts if it stings with the grace of the guillotine. I was invited to a beheading today. After, I ask the executioner if it's bad form to die in good health. He shrugs and says that the audience gets what the audience deserves. If you don't like it, he says, you can very well go home and try it yourself. I ask him how I might make it as he has. He tells me, be yourself, but better. This is how you hide. Either lie like hell, shut up, or speak plain in the language only you understand. In emergencies, you can always run behind the you. Or get over yourself. Why don't you just write a multi-million tell-all hit? Anyone can do it. He laughs, Hessian rasp. Chopping blockbuster. In any case, it's always somebody else who dies. I thank him, like and subscribe. This is goldmine commerce. Eyes tangled in currency signs on the dotted line. I dig deeper and sigh at what I find wrapped in plastic. Good enough for the primetime bacchanal and no more. You may touch, but you can't see from afar, and the world spreads its legs for another fucking star. Thank you. And I'll play you out now with something a bit more chilled out. Thanks again for having me. The great thing about Zoom gigs, as I'm finding out, is that I can pause to have some green tea. If this was at a bar, I would support the bar, I assure you. So let's go on to The Poison Ring. Now, I wrote this as part of a workshop, and it's after Kitsch Wright. It's very much in the vibe of, you know, you'd see in all these Italian Renaissance-based shows, the Borgias and everything, you'd see they'd slip poison to each other in these kind of special rings with containers in them. So it's based on that idea. I will put in the ring a cluster of overripe persimmons, a windowsill warm with sitting, the rasp of sequins brushed into reverse. I will put in the ring the butterfly kiss of a leather glove, the wink behind a story waiting to be told, the fragile geometry of a tuning violin. I will put in the ring the secrets of a lone magpie, a drop of cold milk from a glass bottle, a smile wrapped in pale blue silk. I will put in the ring the after image of a dusty spotlight, the mischief of the rising sun and long bankside walks to the dawn. My ring is cut from the silver shoots that survive winter and cast out of snakes that bite their own tails. Its bezel contains this hoard of jewels. It softens borrowed in a dragon's chest. I shall wear my ring at tomorrow's banquet and not before. There I shall serve the wine, palm up, and allow 1,000 miracles to become drink. Thank you. I've been Arden Fitzroy, and it's been a pleasure to have my first ever Zoom poetry event with you. And have a nice day. Thank you for Whisky and Beards Publishing for organizing this. Thank you, everybody. Do I press leave now? Thank you. Wow.
Thank you for being with us today, Arden. Oh, that set was great. If there's anything that I can be more excited about, is the fact that most of my hosting set is actually poets that I haven't booked myself. So I don't know what to expect, and I'm so excited to hear new work from new artists that I haven't heard from before. So without further ado, really, I was thinking that this was going to be, you know, straight from one poet to the next, but actually there's like 3 minutes to semi-chill in between each poet, which is quite nice. From a producing point of view, we don't normally get this. We're normally very angsty and you know, thinking about how the event's going to go, and are we sharing the links to the right place, and, you know, kind of worried about, is the next poet going to come, but the next poet's already here, so I can be like, yeah, it's cool, it's grand. So I really hope everyone at home is enjoying this massive stream so far. I'm really excited to be here and to be hosting you all. The talent that we've seen today so far has been absolutely incredible. We've had some old favorites, we've had some familiar faces, we've had some new people that haven't performed with WinchesterFest before. This whole festival has just been a journey. It's been a journey, and it's been an absolutely wonderful one. And what can I say? The other producers are incredible. We've got Sam Tate, poet. We've got Connor Sansby, writer. We've got Alice Vellis, poet. We've got Claudia Volpe. We've got myself, obviously, and we've got Gemma Baker. And honestly, I could not have imagined a freaking better team to work with, because they're all fucking incredible. Don't know if we're allowed to swear. Oh well, it's happened now. But yeah, so without any further ado, I am going to welcome our next performer to the virtual stage. Hi Louise, how are you?
Hello, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm really good, thank you. We've got a couple of minutes, so can you introduce us to kind of where you're from and tell us a little bit about you?
I'm from Birmingham. I'm a teacher and a poet. I've got a book coming out in July with Fly in the Wall Press called How to Make Curry Goats. Yeah, so that's out. Oh gosh, it's nearly July, so soon, which is exciting. Yeah, and I performed across London and Birmingham, really. Mostly London, but yeah, that's me.
Excellent. Sorry.
Yeah, that's it really.
Okay, I'm so excited to hear from you. I caught some of your set earlier on in the festival, and the other producers have assured me that your stuff is just incredible. So I'm totally prepared to be blown away by your work. Like, I'm so excited to hear you. When I got the list of the people I was hosting, I went and researched all of you and just got more excited as time went on. So yeah, I'm really glad you could be here to join us for our finale. And yeah, whenever you're ready, take it away. Well, can we please welcome Louise to the virtual stage?
Thank you. Yay, thank you. I thought I'll do an old one and then I'll do a couple of new ones, shorter ones. So the first one is called Mummy Belly. Your mummy belly looks back at me with 100 smiles, carved by my brothers. And pulled away, and we learn the beauty of soft things. We learn the beauty of belly with skin that no longer fits, that does not conform to the rules of Play-Doh. It does not return to its original shape, no more like the creased cape, now in the world's greatest superhero. I marvel as it tells the story of me breach, brought out in glory of blood and guts, your belly cut to reveal my first cries. We fly together, you and I. You tell me how we almost died many times. After 5 days, you return from hospital. Scar that once smiled, now weeping me, sleeping beauty at home, blissful ignorance at the war you fought to get me breathing air. Your body would return home battle scarred forever. Marked your reward, pressing, wondering how I fit in, wondering if my body will do the same. When I see the first line on by a sign, red and angry at my body for no longer being defined as a child, there is no denial. I will grow mummy belly too. It's genetic. My skin will hang like the creased cape of a superhero that has held the world within. It will not return to its original shape. No, this living, breathing skin. When I see celebrities on the telly one day after with laughter, flat belly, smooth skin, and I think, we are not beautiful. I forget the beauty of soft things. I want hard abs and elastic band skin that snaps back quicker than a Snapchat, but your mummy belly tells me I can't have that. But what is more beautiful than a body that's lines write the stories of our lives, that show us the changes, the lines on our faces, the softness of skin, the stretch marks blend in this living, breathing thing, evolving. Because I want your mummy belly, and when I do, I press it with and it will remind me of you. That's that one. I wrote that for my mum one Mother's Day, and she was like, "Why are you posting?" Was her. I'll read quite short. Yeah, I've got some time, so quite short ones. These are really new, so still under construction, I suppose. This one is my niece, who is currently So she's quite young, my niece, but she's doing that whole influencer thing on Instagram, which is very strange for me because I saw her when she was a little baby, and now she's 19. So this is me reflecting on that. And it's called, "To my niece, I wish you wouldn't wear that dress on Instagram. When I first saw you, I screamed. You were too tiny to be possible to there. I saw you round lunar eclipse, huger than the moon. Trace fingers over the first stretch mark. You signed your name that day. Hope. Nothing could more. How they saw the curve of your curls on the sonogram. How you knew. How she would ask for ice cubes, crunch them between her teeth. How you would do the same 19 years on. How all is connected in this way. How you came out with face. Wide open, brown bubble face. You knew who you were right then, haven't changed. The way your eyelashes reach for heaven, a smile that couldn't have been painted, such a little thing I did not know how humans begin so damn cloud-like. How air bends bodies from atoms. Lumpy, you were like candy floss, just it disappeared. How I told all the people a baby first on the evening. How when you cried judgment, will I ever? Ask the baby with wide open brown bubble face. They say your heart eye emoji, 10.7K of them. The man from Kentucky, sun-ripened, old enough to be my dad, declares your perfection with mouth wetted by candy floss, how they send you a box of sunglasses to remind humans need shade to stop the sun from snatching eyes out. You, woman, in pink PVC prison, body tries to get it. Oh, that's that one. I hope she doesn't hate it. And I'll just do a quick one. It's called Disappointment. When Mum said we were going to Iceland, I imagined it would go. Public transport with sleds pulled by wolves dressed as dogs. Father Christmas, our next door neighbour, the elves, our new best friends, snowmen bigger than houses. Everyone would live in igloos and wear coats that make them look like teddy bears, and the stars. We'd never see such stars, that close to heaven we would be. When Mum took us to Iceland, there were crinkle-cut oven chips, fish fingers in breadcrumbs, and brains faggots in gravy, her favourite chicken drummers and baked beans, dark chocolate choc ices, also her favourite. That day I learned Iceland was just a freezer food shop, and that brains faggots are made from sheep guts wrapped up in skin. Thank you. And that's that. Do I close?
Thank you. That set was absolutely brilliant. I'm so glad you could join us today. The great thing about the finale being, now that I've finished my actual job for the summer, is I can actually watch. So basically I haven't been able to catch all of the shows, or if I have, I haven't been able to catch the whole shows because I work like ridiculous hours. So I'm loving the fact that we just have an all-day stream with so many talented poets. I'm just so excited to catch them all. It's like a highlight reel of the festival, really. That was such a good set. I really enjoyed it. Really, really enjoyed it. Do you have any kind of social media links where people can follow you?
Yeah, I'm Louise SC Poetry, and on it's hyperbole, so it's like hyperbole, but instead of the E, OU at the end, which is quite complicated, I suppose. But yeah, just those two.
And do you have a name for your collection that's coming out?
Yeah, it's the collection's coming out. It's called How to Make Curry Goat, and there'll be lots of
How to make
food
curry
related
goat.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a good title. Such a good title. Oh man, if ever I write another
thank
collection,
you.
I'll have to contact you to help me come up with titles, because I'm just terrible at coming up with titles. My God.
No, me too. Actually, the publisher made pick that one. Oh, it was that well.
Let's see if we can find our next poet in the interwebs. You get me for a couple of minutes. Oh no, wait.
Hello?
Hey, Catherine, I'm really excited to have you with us today. We've just had an amazing set from Louise, and now I'm super excited to have you come join us in WinchesterFest. So Catherine is someone I met at the University of Kent back in the day when we were both students. She's got a work in progress novel. It's called The Comfort of Love. I'm really excited because Catherine is really good at poetry, and I'm really excited that she's starting to dabble in novel writing. Novels are something that I've never quite managed to get a grip on, so I have massive respect for anyone that will give a novel a go. So yeah, when you're ready, Catherine, we're going to have an extract from Catherine's work in progress novel. So
Thank you, Laura.
Welcome to the stage.
Thank you. All right. Carrying the cake into the living room, she sat on her sofa once again and used a fork to plunder through the creamy cake. She looked at herself and what she was doing. Tears formed and spread down her face. She continued to shovel cake into her mouth willingly. Heather closed her eyes and thought of the memories with Terry. The first night that they met, him cuddling her and telling her how special she was. That night had been so memorable for so many reasons. Heather had taken the 3:20 bus to her friend Daphne's house, where she had paraded through the archway. Heather, hey! Daphne swept back her long brown curly hair and used her free arm to embrace Heather. Come meet some people. That was when she saw him. He had soft blue eyes, black hair, and a reassuring stature. Under his lip was a small scar that made him just slightly imperfect. You're Daphne's friend from work, aren't you? He said. At P&L, yeah. In different departments, though. How do you know Daphne? I don't think she's ever mentioned you. I'm a friend of Rob's. He just mentioned that his friend Daphne was bringing a friend from work, that's all. Heather put on a fake smile. Right. The uncertainty that she had felt then did not last. After a few dates, infatuation swallowed her whole. She didn't want to think about those times. It made her compare them to the current times. She felt powerless and immensely powerful in her relationship with Terry. She was curious as to how these two could coexist. Now, she was sure that he was out of her life forever. She just wanted the chance to prove to him that they could be together, that was all. He was cruel for not allowing her to do that. She knew the way that he saw her, like she was not worth his time and affection. Perhaps she could just never deserve a man like him. She had limited options otherwise. Of all the men she knew, there was not one that liked her. Her hopes of being desired rested on the shoulders of one man who only wanted her for one salacious reason. She continued to eat the cake. She reached for the remote control, using the buttons to zap quickly. It was Pretty Woman. Impossible relationships. My special gift is impossible relationships, Richard Gere mused. When she heard that, she breathed in and the tears stopped. There was hope. He would come around. When the film finished, Heather rested on the sofa. Hi, Heather. She jumped. Sorry, didn't know you were asleep. John, you're back? Yeah, got in yesterday. How was your trip? Good, yeah, great. Lily's parents are lovely, he said, smiling. Oh, that's amazing. I take it you made a good impression? Heather was smiling, but her eyes were wet. He was a man, he probably wouldn't notice. Yeah, are you okay? Right, he had noticed. Yeah, she said, but she started crying again. What's wrong? Nothing, she said. She paused. I just watched a sad film, that's all. Ah, John said. I understand. I watched Titanic with Lily a few weeks ago. You wouldn't believe how much she was sobbing. Yeah, she said, sniffing. Well, if you need me, I'll be in my room. Is anyone else home? Lisa's here, I think. Cool. Maybe we could all go for a drink tomorrow. Sure, why not? John smiled and shut the door. At least she had her housemates. Heather had only known them about 6 months. She didn't feel confident opening up to them yet. What would they even say if they found out about Terry? They would know how pathetic she was. Heather sighed with the overwhelming weight of it on her shoulders. Most people had families, best friends, confidants. She had nothing like that. She thought about the last time she spoke to her father and took a deep breath in as she remembered herself saying, How do you know what's best for me? What if I'm happy? She had screamed the word happy. A frown formed on her face as she remembered the caring aura of her sweet father. It could never be the same again. Even her brother wouldn't speak to her now. Her shoulders felt tense and she knew what she must do. Stepping into her bedroom, Heather grabbed a silver spiralized notebook. She flipped open to the front page where she had written, My Diary. She slumped back down on the sofa and began writing. Dear Diary, I feel so alone with these thoughts. Terry means so much to me. Why doesn't he understand that I could be so good to him? She continued writing, the pen a cathartic sword in her hand. I just hope that things get better for me. I can't even tell anyone about this. I'm so in love with him. She finished the entry with a heart. After putting the diary back in her room, she tipped the plate and fork into the sink. Her phone started to vibrate, making her heart skip a beat. Hello? Heather, come over. What? Why should I? She burst into tears. Come on, I'll look after you, he said. Do you promise? The hope cushioned her and the crying started to fade away. The next thing she knew, he was on top of her. She kissed him passionately, stroking his neck. Once it was over, she lay behind him, embracing him lovingly from behind. He reached over to stroke her arm. This feels so nice. Yeah, he said reluctantly. She turned her head to look at him. His expression was blank. The uncertainty pushed her away and she staggered out of bed. And that concludes my reading.
Kath, that was so good. Man, now I'm super jealous because you're really good at poetry and really good at novel writing. And wow.
Oh, you're too kind.
I'm really excited to read the whole thing. How far are you in the kind of novel writing process at the moment?
So I've written about 25,000 words, but I'm sort of aiming for 85,000 for a finished novel. So sort of over a quarter of the way there, but it does feel like it takes a long time. It feels really arduous sometimes.
And so how many kind of chapters are you hoping for altogether? Do you know yet?
Probably about 15.
15, okay, cool. Well, when it's finished, I'm happy to read it. I'm really excited to read it, actually. Thank you ever so much for being with us today. Thank you for being part of WinchesterFest. Thank you for helping us go out with a bang. And yeah, we'll catch you soon when I'm back in.
Thanks so much for having me.
No problem. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Take care.
You too. Okay. So I'm going to spotlight that to myself a moment. Hey everyone back at home, at work, wherever you're watching us from, really, somewhere with a computer, I guess. I am super excited to be here today. I'm hosting some incredible poets. Most of them actually I've never heard a full set from before, because I've been working, but now I don't have to work and I get to watch poets all day. So I'm super, super excited. And I'm super excited to introduce our next poet. Our next poet is Kate Shukandra. And I'm just yeah, I'm really excited to be here. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm good, thank you. Can you just tell us, for the viewers at home, whereabouts are you usually based?
I'm in Weymouth, Dorset, but I go to uni in Birmingham, so normally I'm doing my poetry stuff up there, but obviously due to lockdown, I'm down south at the moment.
Okay, cool. Whereabouts down south?
Weymouth in Dorset.
Oh, you're in
Like a
Weymouth.
little seaside town, yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm from Cornwall originally, so whenever I hear anyone that's like, I'm from the south of England, I'm like, yeah, the south. What was I going to ask you? Yeah, so do you have any upcoming projects or anything that you're currently working on?
I don't. I submitted a competition entry to the Verve Poetry Press, and I'm hoping that could go somewhere, but at the moment I'm just writing for fun, really, other than that.
Oh, that's brilliant. And have you done lots of like Zoom virtual gigs during lockdown?
Yeah, I've done a few workshops with my friend Matt, who I think might be watching at the moment, but yeah, he does a workshop every Tuesday, and like gives people a platform to do open mic nights and stuff like that, which is great.
Okay, brilliant. I'm really excited. I'll have a little check. Drop your Facebook socials in, or the links to the workshops in the chat that's part of this.
I don't have it myself, but if you wouldn't mind putting my Instagram there, that'd be cool.
Okay, of course. Yeah, of course. Of course, no worries.
I'll put that there in a bit.
But when you're ready, yeah, if you'd like to take it away, welcome to our virtual stage.
Thank you very much. So I'm a spoken word artist and LGBTQ plus activist. So the selection of poems I've chosen to read out are based on my experiences of living as a gay woman. For example, the first one draws upon the fetishization of queer women. It's called When Earth Stood Still. You are not welcome in our flower bed. So don't think that your seeds will make it of any greater value. The sun is not a planet. We nurture each other without the aid of your star quality. The sun is not a planet. We can live without your burning desire to set our clothes alight until all you see is scarred flesh. The sun is not a planet. We give life to the earth with the water of our mouths and the natural love of lipstick on chapstick or simply tooth or nail. The sun is not a planet. So that was the first one. This next one's called, for my future wife, if I ever find one, it's called When I Find You in Eden. I will walk through the endless garden, testing the scent of every nettle leaf until I find fresh mint. Okay, so this next one's a bit longer. It's called Morning Glory. And when I wake up, I am lying next to you. I love waking up next to you. The light shines perfectly through the pride flag on my window, casting a rainbow shadow on your flawless figure. I move closer to you, gently wrap my arms around you so that when you wake up, you will think that I did it subconsciously. And you will know just how much I love waking up next to you. I close my eyes, try to pretend I don't mind the fact that your hair has shed over every square inch of my bed. You stir, a smile, knowing that we'll get to talk soon. You grimace. I pray that you haven't had a bad dream. You open your eyes, part your lips, and with great conviction exclaim, I need a shit. True story is incredibly romantic. Okay, this next one's a haiku. It's called Hair Care. Undercut, the queer version of getting a fringe to cure depression. All right. This next one's called Star Cycle. By the time I'd aligned with my ideal star sign, apparently a Gemini, I'd already been swept off my feet by so many self-hating dykes disguised as bright nights that I'd forgotten how to walk towards her. I can't blame them for my misfortune. I'd happily hopped on their horses, hoping to ride off into the sunset, thinking each one was flawless. I just saw the flawless often when my head was stuck looking up to them. I placed my happiness in their hands, and they dropped it every time, leaving me to search for the pieces scattered over Weymouth Beach, and like a dog I'd retrieve them to be thrown away. The moment I came back, each one left a crack that ran deeper, until I swaddled my heart in an iron cast, locked it up for good, and swallowed the key so I'd be able to leave her, instead of realizing I was another poorly crafted first draft of the ideal woman that everyone's after. Sorry. Not really looking to date anyone at the moment. Okay, this next one goes up to any queer person who's been outed. Like, sorry about that. It's called outing. If I gave you a baby bird, would you chuck it out of a window and expect it to fly? Okay, this next one is a poetic response to Jameson Fitzpatrick's I Woke Up. It's called And It Was Sacred. I woke up next to her, and it was sacred. She told me she'd had a great time last night and that it was sacred. I let her borrow my toothpaste and even my toothbrush. They were both sacred. We got in the shower together after not having had the mental capacity to wash for days, and the shampoo she rubbed into my hair was sacred. She told me her shirt was covered in makeup stains, so I let her borrow mine. To this day, I am yet to reclaim my shirt, but it was still sacred. We walked down the street to uni hand in hand, pretending that everyone who glanced were just daydreaming. That had nothing to do with the casual nature in which our sacred fingers interlocked with one another. We kissed outside the Moorhead Tower, and the publicness of it all was oh so very sacred. I became overly attached, and it was no longer sacred. I became dependent, and it was no longer sacred. I told myself that this feeling of intense desperation was love, but it was no longer sacred. Okay. This last one is called mansplaining. He told me that I could be beautiful if I grew out my hair and wore a dress that showed him my figure. I told him that birds are beautiful, and if I bathed in hot tar and showered myself with feathers, I could be too. Thank you.
I'll mute myself a moment. That was so good. I loved it. Like, people can't see this at home, but there were loads of times when you were performing where I was just like fucking clicking away, like, and when you were like, yeah, an undercut is the lesbian version of, you know, getting a fringe in depression, and I was like yes,
you can see that.
it looks so good, because I got an undercut last year and I was like, yeah,
sorted now.
I really felt that haiku in particular.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me.
That was incredible.
Thank you.
No problem. I'm just going to give you the spotlight just for one more second. Just to remind our folk at home, can you remind us again of your social media links, please? So people can follow you and
it's
poetry
Kate Shikandra Poetry, just Kate Shikandra Poetry on Instagram. Yeah.
Okay, fabulous. I will definitely be giving you a follow because I am a self-confessed Instagram lover. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here, and thank you. No problem. Thank you for being part of the wonderful finale. And I will welcome to the stage our next poet. So our next poet is Becca I'm sorry. Calloway. I get this phobia where I'm like, don't pronounce their name wrong, and I practiced all the names last night, and then I still managed to fuck up. And I'm like, dude,
it's all right.
Really? Thank you for joining us. I'm really excited to have you here with us today. Again, I haven't actually caught Becca yet, but I am very, very excited to hear your wonderful set. I've been told that you are amazing and you are a pillar of wonderful poetry.
Oh my God.
Super excited. I know. So I'm expecting big I'm expecting big things here. Okay. I'm expecting big things. So yeah, whenever you're ready to take to the stage, we're ready to have you.
Sweet. So then this first poem is like an old poem. It's basically about, you know, sometimes love comes to you when you're too fucked up and crazy to really see it. Well, this is what happens. The odd encounter. I skipped to your door yesterday. Well, imagine my surprise when a monster answered. We stared into each other's eyes, searching for a clue. Hello, I stammered. I'm looking for Roo. Growled the monster, sharp yellow teeth aglow. I am he that you seek. What? Didn't you know? Rather taken aback, I stared and stared some more. Oh, but that's quite impossible, quoth I. You see, he has a nose, and I don't remember him having a scaly turquoise body or 17 toes. I am he, grumbled the monster. I think he gave a pout. Flashing his gargantuan forked tongue of red. I am your lover. I am your friend. Oh, yes, but see, it can't be. For instance, he nibbled on oranges and tomatoes, and you're devouring a basket of severed heads. And I don't quite recall a second set of arms of warts. He frowned at what I'd said. The monster glugged closer. His centipedean body trembled. Some trepidation danced on my heart. The monster bowed his head and raised a hairy paw. I am he whispered. My ears wet their pants. I'm the one you mourned. I'm the one you craved. I'm the boy you're bound to for all your days. The monster emitted a stench from the recess of his gut. I am your lover, believe it or not. Well, I shall not, squealed I, trying to wriggle free. Please, Mr. Monster, this really can't be. You see, when I left him all those moons ago, he was perfection. He was incandescent with love. With big brown eyes and a smile so bright, I took all the bulbs out the house as I required no light. You see, he had a voice of such passion, every word he used, so suffused of such poetry, squeezed and transformed, he could distort reality. He could bring you heaven in a pause. Why, you just grunt and slobber and roar. Please, Mr. Monster, this really can't be. You see, I've come such a long way to see him today. All I wanted to tell him was that I love him and melt in his arms. But I cannot love you. You're a rotting corpse, a mangled, talentless stand-in, a satire on all I once cherished. You're a monster. You are not him. I am he, murmured the monster. Watching the ground, tears fled from his translucent eyes, reaching out for me one last time, a look of such melancholy mingled with pride, but I flinched and ran. I am he, the monster slurped away. As the red scratched door closed in my face, I sat on the stairs, grateful we'd said goodbye, and I thought to myself, maybe it's true. Maybe we all have a monster inside. But just maybe I created this one. Next, so this is a recent poem. Oh, maybe I don't have time for it. Or let's just see how we go. This is called Through the Roof. This is, you know, what happens when love finds you at this old age. Was it today or yesterday? It can't have been tomorrow when I first saw the tiny wormhole, a speck of antimatter, a black hole, twinkling out the corner of my eyes, just beyond yet within perception. I swear when it caught my gaze it grinned, maybe even sucked its little tummy in. Bigger and bigger, bolder and bolder it grew, its warm inner core and gentle gravitational pull, questioning and probing into all I knew. I woke up one day, was it this week or last? The wormhole was the size of my ceiling. The sly little bugger had cleaned my room. Gone were my cobwebs, gone were the buckets of teas, gone were all the buried baggage I'd been hoarding all these years. I thought it might be bored, so I took it out for a walk. It was the first time I'd felt free, to just be silly and childish, just be me. It was as though this little black hole gobbled up all the negativity and fear I've been dragging around with me all these years. I don't know where it came from. I don't know when it will leave. My little spatial anomaly, my bottomless source of positivity. It's currently in the lounge room watching TV. But my life is better for it. The world a brighter place. Side by side with my little gift from outer space. And then the last one, this is just like so I'm from Melbourne, right? And so this is a silly one I wrote to the poets back in Melbourne, just to sort of be cheeky. It's called The Poet. A metaphor for crazed conformed eccentricity. The poet, decked out in vestments of only black or muted mystical colours to mirror their sensible, albeit tortured soul, imbued at birth for an unhealthy predilection for blood-red wine, symbolic of culture and paramount to maintaining a close association with God. Munches on crisps, but they must be decanted into the appropriate concave receptacle. There's nothing arty in tinfoil, babe. The poet, verbosity at his fingertips, the Blarney stone secure around his neck, an earthquake of malapropisms fired point blank at all and sundry just for a fag or a beer. Shit at Scrabble, fabricates words, cannot express normal human emotions unless in ballad form. The poet, instinctive insight into when to smile in hopeful unison and nod appreciatingly at obscure, also fictitious literary references, all in the hopes of an after party with free food. The poet, necessarily hopeless around the home. The poet, found lolling in grottos, eating crumpets and wearing an inappropriate scarf. The poet, nebbish in their arrogance, ridiculing but anxious, squalidity, just so-so. Never listens but always eager to be heard. The poet, great congregations of clustered, lonely people. The poet, incomprehensible prophet. The poet, master of jaunty, jocular insults. The poet, smarty pants. Oh, the poets, my favourite people. Oh, le poète, best of all, will clap at anything. Boom, and I think that's my 7 minutes, eh?
Muted. Sorry, you have 2 more minutes. So if you have one more poem, then yeah, go right ahead.
Oof, crikey, what have I got that's for 2 minutes? Here you go.
Even 1 minute, as you, not at all, as you want.
Here you go. I read you so as not to forget what my eyes are for. I speak you so as not to forget the sorrow so loud in my voice. I wrote you, sweet poem, because I am unable to feel. I wrote you to be my teardrop.
And that was so good. And I must say, what I did was I wrote down my favorite line. I've decided now that what I'm going to do, especially with the poets that I haven't heard before, I'm going to write down my favorite line. And just when you said we all have a monster inside, but maybe I created this one. Oof.
Thank you.
if words were a dagger, you hit me right between the ribs, man.
I think it's something we're all guilty of.
I really, really enjoyed your set. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming all the way from Australia. Are you in Australia at the moment?
No, I'm in the UK now.
Okay, because I was going to say, fucking hell, the time difference is just insane if you're calling us from Australia. Fabulous. So where are you normally based? Where's your usual base?
I'm up in the wilds of East Anglia.
Okay, East Anglia, fabulous. And I'm just going to put the spotlight back to you just for 2 seconds. So you can tell all our people watching at home, do you have any social media that people can follow your poetry adventures on?
I don't actually. I'm like an old lady, so I'm used to just going to like open mic venues and stuff. I've not really got into this whole online poetry stuff. So at some point I will, but I don't know. I'm sure you'll catch me around. Sorry.
No, that's no worries. I've really enjoyed listening to your set and I've had a fabulous time. So thank you again for joining us. And
Thank you for having
being
me
part
here.
of the finale for WinchesterFest. No problem. Okay, and so I'm really excited to introduce our next poet. Again, it's someone that I haven't heard before, so I am planning to write down a favourite line. I am so excited to be here. For those of you that have just joined us, this is 102 Days of Sodom. This is our massive, and I'm talking massive, 13 hours of poetry, novels, prose, just 13 hours of solid literature for our finale of WinchesterFest. So if you missed 102 days of our festival, doesn't matter. Come join us in the stream. I'm here for a bit. We had Alex earlier. You'll have Claudia. You'll have Connor. You'll have Sam. You'll have Gemma. The other producers of the festival. They're all fucking fabulous. So if you can't come now, come later. And yeah, so without any further ado, I am going to bring us on to our next poet. Our next poet is Rachel Powell. And so Rachel, tell us, whereabouts are you based?
I'm based in Newquay in Cornwall, so I'm part of like the Sprout Spoken crew and also our Wordworks group as well. So yeah, but as you can tell from my accent, I'm from Middlesbrough. I'm a North East lass, so I'm originally from Borough, Middlesbrough. Yeah.
I saw your name in the planning document and I vaguely recognised it, so I did have a little creep. And I was like, a fellow Sprout Spoken person, fabulous.
Yeah.
I obviously I'm from Cornwall originally, so massive fan of Sprout Spoken. Always happy to have fellow Sprout Spoken people join us for WinchesterFest. So I'm really excited that you can be here. I have actually heard some of your work before, I think. I think at one of the open mics.
So. Yeah, probably at an open mic. So I've got, obviously a lot of us have been writing during the recent events. It actually changed my writing style. So normally I'm quite kind of more hard hitting and punchy, and I think it's a little bit too much with everything that we're going through. But I'm actually going to do some older stuff, which is a little bit more hard hitting, because I thought at lunchtime, like, we probably need a little bit of a boost to like get us through the rest of the day. So I thought if I take it too chilled out, like, people will be falling asleep at their desks. So yeah.
And I'm guessing, have you done quite a lot of poetry performances during quarantine?
Do you know what? Actually, not many at all. I've just joined the London Writers Salon, which has been really, really cool. So I'm meeting up with those guys like every morning at 8 o'clock just to sit and write for an hour. So that's been really interesting. So I did an open mic with them on Friday, but just with you guys, that's it really. So yeah.
Well, we're really excited to have you. We're really excited to have you here with us today. So when you're ready, come to the virtual stage. Rachel, everybody.
Thank you. Okay, so well, it's a quick gallop through this. So, okay, so here we go, or here I go, plunging feet first, a headlong lurch, a poetic burst into a potential swan song of spoken word. But first, mental note. The exits are there and here, for when I can't fight but need to flee from my fear. For when these silent waves start crashing and my pounding heart starts thrashing, trying to leap out of my chest. For when these shaking hands desperately grip the stiff reality of solid ground, and the searing heat from these flushed cheeks rushes to reach its peak, and I open my mouth to speak. Silence. Am I out of my mind? Or just out of a body that's running out of control? Because this is absurd. To falter over every carefully selected verse and rehearsed word, and yet this is my life's drama played out on this very stage. My trauma a footnote on every single page as my terror spills out while it continues to rage, rumbling up from my belly and into my chest before it snakes around my throat, making me stutter and stammer and stumble and choke. These words trickily tripping from the tip of my tongue, and I've come completely undone because this isn't part of my act. I'm having a panic attack. Tear-pricked eyes, tingling skin, a roaring heart like an avalanche rushing to let an unknown universal terror in. Above this cacophony, above this dim, I need to fight and climb and swim towards the light, towards my sanity, before I drown in this rawest experience of fragile humanity. I breathe. We breathe. I hold my breath to get through this mess. The rest is just history. a test to redefine the mystery of life and its absurdity, because I know I am asking a lot. But am I asking too much of myself, of yourselves, of up here, where fear grows its tendrils, unfurl, eyes cold to grip and rip and dagger and spit my life out of this page and into this world. So yeah, mental note. The exits are there and here. When I can't fight, they need to flee from my fear. Okay, so that was the first one. It's called Mental Note, you probably guessed. This one is called Wild Women. What do you think? He means, do I agree, to keep quiet and conform to his version of democracy? Freedom of speech where we're not permitted to speak? And false joviality? Over keeping it real? Not me. I dare to question male authority, you see. He thinks it can't get any better, but I know better. We know better. The cracks are starting to show. So I raise my hand up through one, tentatively reaching for the sun where I'll get burned and shot down in flames. The daring to be outspoken and brazenly brave. Brave the wilderness. I've crossed enemy lines. I've questioned the status quo, not for myself, but so we can collectively grow. My fierce heart isn't afraid to stand on its own 2 feet, to take the steps we need to break free. I've breached the cracks created by others and waded through the trenches to no man's land where I now stand. Alone. Wild woman. Kind heart. Strong spine. The world's still not ready for my kind. And maybe the world is, and it's mankind, desperately clutching at the edges of our dresses, hemmed in grime, from our muddy bare feet that run unfettered and free across field, forest, meadow and sandy beach. We can't be tamed and we can't be silenced. Our blood roars with the banshee cries of wild mothers, sisters and daughters. The echo of time whispers through our wind-blown tresses that are salt-kissed by brine. And then light from a glittering galaxy of 1,000,000 stars cascades across the skies in our eyes. Good luck to the guy who thinks he can control, subdue and manipulate our minds, who believes our hands can be given, taken, bought and tied. Because wild women, like wild wolves, run free with our dogged determination and our razor-sharp teeth. So that is that one. And then kind of keeping with the animal theme, we're on from wolves to pterodactyls. So this would make sense if I had time to tell you the story before it. So we're just going to go with it. So I hope it inspires you to be a bit more pterodactyl. I have something to tell you, a secret to share with you. If you lend me your ears, open wide your heart and abstain from all of your fears. You, my fierce one. You are not a canary. You are a freaking pterodactyl, and nothing and no one can cage you unless you let them clip your wings, crush your dreams and tame your wild, wild flight. You have been sold a lie, told a sorry tale for you and me. A vibrant spark locked in a metal box, dragged into the dark, dark depths as a slave to save a man's life. You believe you were born to be sacrificed. Vivacious sunshine, now smothered in soot. Behind begrimed bars, a blackened thumbprint pressed and left against the catch of the latch of your cage. Men wait in trepidation for your soft, fluttering breast to beat its last beat and breathe its last breath. But you are not the oppressed. Open your eyes in this dim half light, awake and take flight, for you are not a canary. You are a freaking pterodactyl, and nothing and no one can cage you. I have something to tell you, a secret to share with you. If you lend me your ears, open wide your heart and abstain from all of your fears. You, my beloved, you are not a nightingale. You are a freaking pterodactyl. And nothing and no one can cage you unless you let them steal your voice, take away your free choice and break your wild, wild will. You have been sold a lie. Sung a sad song for you, believe you belong trapped in this gilded cage. In this demure vessel nestles a golden voice treasure, forced to sing on the whim of others for their advancement and pleasure. Men feather their cap from your melancholy tones that relay your melancholy tale, but you are not for sale. Open your mind to this silver-tongued cage. Fill your lungs not with notes of love, but with justified rage. For you are not a nightingale. You are a freaking pterodactyl, and nothing and no one can cage you. There we go.
Oh, that was
7 minutes.
Yeah, that was absolutely brilliant. Thank you for being here, Rachel. That set was just so good. The delivery on that last poem especially was just, wow.
Thank you.
Your delivery is absolutely incredible.
Slowly getting past the nerves. Yeah.
But thank you ever so much for being here today.
Bye.
Bye. And I'm going to introduce now our next poet. Again, it's someone else that I haven't heard yet, so I'm very excited to hear them. We have Brian Morris with us. Brian, whereabouts are you calling us from today?
I'm in Suffolk.
In Suffolk, okay, excellent.
Various Medmonds in Suffolk.
Okay, and is that where you're based normally?
Oh yeah, either here or Broadstairs or Gloucestershire. I travel around a bit.
And I must just say, I am absolutely loving your shirt. This is brilliant shirt action today.
Yeah, well, I thought if if my poems are boring, people can take an interest in the shirt, you see.
I see. Good plan. I'm sure, though, that you won't need to distract with the shirt. I'm sure your poems are going to be absolutely incredible. So without any further ado, please, can we welcome Brian to the virtual stage?
Thank you. Yeah, a lot of high energy people out there, isn't there? I probably must be the oldest person here, so my poems might be slightly different. I cannot express emotions deep when all night long I've had no sleep. I lift my pen, the ink runs blue, just like my heart since I lost you. Tossing and turning on pillows damp, reaching out to switch the lamp on and off all night long. But just like you, the bulb has gone. Running fingers through my hair, I gaze into the cold night air. I reach to close the window, wait, that's you coming in through the gate. I rush downstairs and let you in, hug you and forgive your sin. I choke some words through tearful fog. Where have you been, you naughty dog? Sweet that, isn't it? I'm not bald under this hat, by the way. I just put it on to part of my costume. This is a minimalist poem. A wasp in my kitchen I spied. It died, deep fried. Thank you. Right. Kaylee. I'm sure you all know what a Kaylee is. It's sort of a country dance. I went to a Kaylee one summer's night. I'd had a few beers and was feeling all right. Dressed up right fine with me confidence full. This was the night I was going to pull. Then through the old fogies and folkies I spied a young girl at the bar. She gave me the eye. So cool as you like, I struts to her corner. She sat all alone, no father to warn her. And I bowed right politely and offered me arm. Come dance, my young pretty, I says with great charm. Her lily white fingers brushed back her long hair, and lightly she blushed as she rose from the chair. Then she grabbed me with gusto when we rushed to the floor, and after 3 dances she begged me for more. We spiraled, we spun, we jigged and we whirled. I was beginning to regret my choice of this girl. You see, I'm not still in the prime of my life. That time has gone. I blame my third wife. And so as we stripped the willow once more, I felt something snap and I fell to the floor. So whilst pulling a bird had been in me head, I ended up pulling a hamstring instead. So wriggling and writhing in pain on the ground, to watch my break dancing, a crowd gathered round. Someone said, he's good. Others stood milling. One bloke remarked, he's not on the billing. Then the young girl, like an angel above, smiled at me sweetly, then buggered off. But before she left, young man at her side, she delivered one final blow to me pride. The words that she spoke were met with great cheers. And to this day, nice try, Grandad, still rings in me ears. Thank you. I don't know how much time I've got. I've got 3 minutes. I suffer from OCD. Do you suffer from OCD? I went for therapy about 5 years ago. CBT, and they told me I need my OCD for my PTSD. So that didn't help a lot. Anyway, this is my poem about OCD. Obsessive compulsive disorder. My mind must need a border. To bring some kind of order, it's created an infinite loop. A loop. My mind is on a loop. OCD ballistic is on a loop. Walk into the shops and never slacks when your mind is on a loop. A loop. My mind is on a loop. I've got OCD ballistic because my mind is on a loop. Thoughts are flying around my brain. I think I'm going quite insane because I must wash my hands again. My mind is on a loop. A loop. My mind is on a loop. I've got OCD ballistic because my mind is on a loop. Oh, what is to become of me? I can't stop stirring this cup of tea, and yet again I need to pee. I'm anal and can't poop. A loop. My mind is on a loop. I've got an OCD ballistic because my mind is on a loop. Move the wrinkles from my sheets 50 times to keep them neat. OCD compels repeats when your mind is on a loop. A loop. My mind is on a loop. I've got an OCD ballistic because my mind is on a loop. Look to the left, look to the right, look to the left, look to the right. Look, I could do this all bloody night. My mind is on a loop. A loop. My mind is on a loop. I've got an OCD ballistic because my mind is on a loop. Oh, God. Hang on. I'll have to go backtrack on that verse, I think. Look to the left, look to the right. Look to the left, look to the right. I could do this all bloody night. My mind is on a loop. A loop. My mind is on a loop. I've got OCD ballistic and being realistic. I'm not too optimistic that I can make this line stick to ending with this stick. Only think of mystic, Prit stick. Maybe I'm autistic. My mind is on a loop. Thank you. Goodbye. I've finished.
Oh, that was so good, man. I love the internal rhymes, and the repetition was just brilliant. Like the way you delivered that the repeating lines at the end of each stanza, it packed a really big punch. Like, oh, wow. I really enjoyed that set.
OCD took over the whole poem, you see. That's the whole structure of the poem is about OCD.
Yeah. No, I really like that mirroring you did between sort of the compulsiveness of OCD was mirrored very much in the structure of your poem, and I liked all of your set, but that poem in particular was my standout for me. So just so everyone at home knows, do you have any kind of social media or anywhere that anybody can follow you and follow your poetry adventures?
I'm on Facebook, Brian Morris, spelt the French way. I I do this a bit randomly, really. I open mics occasionally, or I think on Zoom occasionally with the Froster Words of Music in the Air. That's a Wednesday night thing that I do poems on. Yeah, I'm not structured. I just do them whenever. In pubs, if people ask me, I have one particular friend, every time I go in the pub, I have to do the poem to everybody who's in there.
Well,
he says, do your OCD poem. I said, I'm always doing my OCD poem for you. I have to do these strangers.
I'm like that too. I have a poem that I usually perform quite a lot to a new audience, and it's one that I wrote right at the beginning. I wrote it when I was 16, and I have a poet friend, Alex, who's also one of the producers of this festival, and every time I perform that poem, he's mouthing the words at me, like he's sat in the audience mouthing the words because he knows it off by heart as well. He's like, I've heard this poem like 500 times.
Oh, well, that's brilliant. Well, I used to go to Full Broadstairs Folk Week. We used to, and they have a poet's breakfast at 10 in the morning at Sinatra's, and every year I'll get requests to do that OCD poem. That's my signature poem, I suppose. So yeah, and I've been going there for 20 years, and I think I wrote this poem several years ago. Yeah, but it's great, isn't it? It's marvelous fun.
A massive thank you for being here. You didn't need the shirt after all. Your poetry was brilliant. Thank you ever so much for joining us for our finale.
Thank you so
We're really
much.
excited to have you. No worries.
Thank you so much for having me. Bye-bye.
No problem. Bye. Okay, and so then, what can I say about our next poet? So our next poet is Joe Thomas. If you haven't caught them before, I have heard that they are brilliant. Again, it's another poet that I haven't heard before, so I'm actually super excited to be hosting them. Yeah, so Joe, welcome to our stage. Welcome to WinchesterFest. Welcome to the finale.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself for those like me who haven't heard your work before?
I think my work is I think I just try and like do a little bit of everything in there. I think that's the best way to explain it.
Okay. And so do you do a lot of spoken word, or are you more into page poetry? What's your kind of favorite?
I think I do prefer page poetry, but I have been trying to do more like spoken word for this since this festival started.
Okay, so when you're ready, yeah, take it away. Welcome to our virtual stage. It's Joe, everybody.
So this one is this first one is called How the Rain Fell. She finished her cigarette and washed the taste of smoke down with the last few drops of her drink. She saw how the rain fell and smiled. The clouds that made her choose between sink and swim were kind today. She turned to her friend on the opposite side of the table and broke the news. I do not drown today. No. No, you don't. Okay, and then the next one I'm going to read is called Cosmic Joke. One thing they teach you is that height is hot, but 2 meters or more takes it too far. 3 years to get it down to I don't like what I see. 4 might see me make it to I don't mind. 5'1" is a cosmic joke, if it helps. Or 6 feet and 7 inches are pretty funny too. Who knows? One day I might rate myself a solid 8 if I'm generous, 9 if I feel really kind, and I might just enjoy feeling 10 feet tall. Okay, so then that's the second one, and then I think we'll have one more, maybe 1 or 2 more. Let's find them. And then this next one is called Imaginary Friend. I'm an imaginary friend that's been thought into existence. Or maybe you wished hard enough. I don't know. You tell me. I'm the madman who fell from the sky, and before anyone says it, I'm not him. Mr. Love of my life and Mr. Man of my dreams aren't nearly chaotic enough. Mr. Right's entrance runs too smoothly to come down to earth with a crash. How boring. No, I'm not here to be your first choice. But I know what? I like you. A lot. Like more than a friend, but not. You get me? Means when I hear it. Don't worry. It worked. I've been doing this long enough to know we wouldn't be here talking right now if it hadn't. If you're interested, here are the rules. Take food as a given. If you stalk my social media, if I find a heart react on a selfie I took with my cat because I'm in the picture, you're doing it wrong. If you scroll past my pictures, oh my god, he's so cute, I love him, and you didn't mean the dog, but come out with I want him. You're brave. I'll give you that much. If you want to try to make me choose, who's it going to be? Friend 1 or friend 2? When universal, by definition, means both of you. I'm sorry. It's not going to work out. In return, I can only give you a hug. One you can still feel long after it's finished. One that clings on and will not let you go. If I do it right, it should squeeze every "you're not as good as you think you are" thought until they pop. I write you a pretentious poem, which at the end of the day is just a glorified shitpost that I crafted to look like a love letter because I don't know how else to say it. And yes, I do it better than most of your real friends ever could. We keep our streak going between conversations, which last 2 messages, and unspoken. You didn't have to come back, but thank you for you didn't have to answer, but thank you for coming back. No, being left on red is not rude. We haven't run out of small talk. It's an electric until next time. Love from an imaginary friend who was lucky enough to come to life. Thank you.
You have 2 more minutes if you'd like it, Joe.
I have 2 more minutes. Okay.
Don't have to, but if you'd like.
I've got one more I'll try and find. Okay. 2 more minutes. I can't find it. I can't find the one I'm looking for.
That's okay. No worries at all. No worries at all. We can just chat for a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
That line that you had in your poem, I do it better than most of your real friends ever could. Wow.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you.
I wasn't expecting that line to come, and then when you delivered that line, the delivery as well was just so spot on that I was blown away. I was like, oofed. Which is that's a compliment. That's a good.
Thank you.
For someone who's a poet, I'm actually really shit with words sometimes, and when I'm really blown away by something, I'm just there like, oofed, yeah.
Right.
But so it's been so good having you here with us today. Do you have any?
Again, again, I was just going to say thank you for having me.
No problem.
I think you and the rest of the team have just you guys have just been crushing it with the festival.
Thank you. And I'm actually really lucky because not only are we, I think, a really good producing team, but we work together well, but also we're all really good friends. So yeah, it's been a great time. It's been a great time.
Yeah. I think I think it's I think the hard work has really showed over the past few months. I feel like you've enjoyed doing it, and I think it's just helped. I think it's been nothing but good. Just like taking this project on, and
And I don't know about you, but definitely for me, it made quarantine go a lot quicker and just feel a lot better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just, even if we only reach a few people and we manage to have made that quarantine experience a bit more bearable, then we've done what we set out to do, really.
You definitely have.
But thank you ever so much for being here. Thank you for being part of the finale of WinchesterFest. Thank you for making it to the final day. Like, I'm so excited. It's basically like a condensed version of the whole festival, so I'm actually really excited about today. So yeah, thank you for joining us. I'm going to say goodbye to you now because actually we're going to move on to part 2 of the stream. So we're going to see how the changeover goes, hopefully well. But yeah, thank you for joining us and we'll see you soon.